Let's get down to it, boppers.
Yeah, buddies, it's the Ron and Fez Show. First show back of the new year, March 23rd, 2015. 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez.
Oh, that's a typo. It's the 24th.
Oh my God. All right. You know what? Let's just start this thing over from the beginning. We'll take this out in the editing. So today isn't Monday.
It's not Monday.
Is this yesterday's stuff?
No, that's no.
Everything else is right.
Everything else is up to date.
But it's not Monday, March 23rd. And Lappy's not working, and that's fucking starting shit, and it's just a constant for the home team. Anyway, we are back, and hope everybody had a great Christmas break. Fez Watley, last night was the big James Corden Late Show. Is that the name of it? The Late Show?
Yep, that's it.
Two lates. What did you think of it?
I love James Corden and the new Late Show.
You loved it.
Absolutely love. I love James Corden.
You love him.
Yeah, I thought he was adorable going into last night's show.
You know why you're so happy and excited about this?
Why?
Because you were completely right about everything. And I'm like, well, Fez was right about the Graham Norton aspect of it. He was right that Tom Hanks was a great first guest. I'm like, you know, it's just Tom Hanks. You know, everybody likes Tom Hanks. What's the big deal? He got Tom Hanks to do that crazy, soon-to-be viral, go through all your movies 2 seconds at a time. It was, you know, it's really hard to judge anybody's talk show by the first episode because they normally change so much, and it's a marathon. But he came out of the blocks really, really strong last night. It's not easy to do.
I thought he was fantastic. There was only a couple of things that I didn't care for.
Oh, boy, are you your mother.
If I'm going to nitpick and fine-tune the Late Show for James Corden.
No one asked you to, but what was your big problems with it?
I liked the guests all on the couch together, but he leaned in way too close. I was feeling a personal space issue with how far he was leaning into Mila Kunis.
That would never have occurred to me. I did not feel like she was in jeopardy at any case. I didn't think that he was trying to... Are you saying he was trying to hit on her?
Yeah, well, I'll say yeah. Yeah, he was so leaned in. Two things: invasion of personal space, and it made him a hunchback.
Get away from there, would you? Thanks.
He was all hunched over while he leaned in.
I'm sorry, I had to keep people out of my personal space. You know, I don't notice things like that, and here's the thing. I hate when people bring them up. Like, when I'm doing stuff, when people are going like, is this chair... I'm like, who gives a fuck? And now I figured out who does. Fez.
I do. And guest entrances, that was another personal space thing. I thought it was too much of a gauntlet for Tom Hanks and Mila Kunis to have to run through the crowd.
That's the Kelly and Michael gimmick. That's the new way of doing it, that the crowd gets to high-five with people.
Yeah, it just looked too tight.
You're saying that you like the guests out there together. I was reading on the Hollywood Reporter that some agents have a real problem with that because they're worried that their project won't get promoted enough, the full reason why they're there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, they're not there because they're friends with Dave or any of the Jimmys or the Souths. They're there to promote their stuff. And if you're not going to talk about it, why are they there? And until a lot of people aren't good at the hang. You know what I mean?
Right.
This might seem shocking to you, but a lot of people lock up when put into that position.
I've heard it happens.
But I think it's going to be a great place for comics to go. Comics are going to do great there. But I've had actors on my show here that I would say were somewhat of empty vessels.
Okay.
They need a character to shine. their own personality is not their talent. You know, you don't want to have Eric Clapton on without his guitar. He speaks through that guitar. Okay? Robert De Niro speaks through his characters. So for him to be sitting around with, you know, some witty people is not a comfortable spot for him. But, you know, that's something for them to work out. The kid did really good last night. It was a very funny show. Reggie looks like a madman, and he looks like he's going to have a blast. They didn't showcase him enough for me last night, but they have a lot to do. You know what I mean? Like he's there for the long haul. Why not have the pretty girl and the giant movie star? You know, it seemed like there was so many segments in that little show because they've taken out the monologue almost.
Yeah, the monologue. Well, there really wasn't a monologue, so I'm interested to see what happens tonight when he's not thanking his parents.
You could get away from the monologue no matter who you are, as far as I'm concerned. This whole weird, you know, adjusting your jacket while you're, you know, cruise, you know what I mean? No one gives a fuck anyway, you know? And then you have to give a little joke. The Republicans, What did you think of the long bit, that long tape bit that went on forever and had all the big stars in it?
Oh, I like that. I thought it was because you don't know who James Corden is. I think it works perfectly for him because you know, Jimmy Fallon came from late night to the Tonight Show.
Yeah,
everybody, you couldn't do that with who's Jimmy Fallon.
I'm gonna pull the curtain back here a little bit and see that Fez thinks like a producer more than a host. It's very interesting for me to hear the things that you're saying because they're all producing points of view.
Yeah, you had to do something. He couldn't just say, I'm from England, out there in that very quick 2 minutes that he addressed the crowd.
So you would love to produce a show like that. That would be your dream gig.
Oh, yeah. Just sit down with Moonves and work out the logistics of this thing.
I don't think Moonves sits in on those meetings. I think he just hands over a budget. But, you know, again, that's just first show stuff. You've got to really, you know what is happening and how hard it is after you get this, you know, the early dawn light is gone and you're in the fucking heat of the day.
I mean, that would have been a great James Corden variety special on CBS. But yeah, you're right. The work begins now.
But that's another good thing that you brought up. These fucking shows are variety shows now. Like the Tonight Show is no longer a talk show. It's a variety show. And when you see Jimmy singing with his guest, that's shit that used to be back in the 70s what Cher would do or Merv Griffin. Yeah. Johnny Carson never would have like, hey, let's have the two of us go out and do something like that. So Jay and Dave have to be looking at this like, yeah, the game has changed so much that our skill sets are different than the ones that are looking now. They definitely booked this kid because he can do sketches and characters and sing songs with his guests and do a, you know, I don't know, fucking dance with them or something, whatever variety shit is.
Yeah, he'll be more Broadway-ish, a little bit more Neil Patrick Harris with his guests than Fallon. Fallon's more, oh, we're drinking and doing karaoke.
Yeah, but there's a lot more than that, dude. I mean, they put together some really hardcore things on Fallon that go extremely viral. You know, the musical things that he's done and, you know, the history of rap and all that kind of shit. I mean, that stuff is out of a normal comedian's wheelhouse. That's variety show stuff.
Yeah, and then it's also Hollywood game night. Late at night.
Yeah, people seem to like it more than, you know, more than not, but that's still somewhat old school. I mean, it's really back to, you know, 1960s type TV.
Yeah, and the interesting thing was with the guests, when a guest has something to actually push on Corden's show, because last night neither guest really had anything. Kunis's movie had already come and gone.
They were just being there to be the big first guest for him. and they were both kind. And I'm telling you right now, what fucking Tom Hanks gave that kid, you know what I mean? I mean, he gave him a booster shot that's going to last a while.
Yeah, that was exhausting watching that.
But that was, that was the beauty. I mean, that was literally a gift. And then Hanks was very, very funny on that panel, too. The whole bit with the, what were they calling it? With the man...
Oh, man-spreading.
Man-spreading that he got... people were hassling him about. By the way, all this is up on the Interrobang if you want to see it today. The going through all the Hanks movies, one at a time, even right down to Philadelphia, which was pretty funny that he had the coat from Philadelphia. I'm like, how are they going to get the laugh with the AIDS movie?
And then Kunis gave him the big scoop.
Yeah, she kind of did. She didn't completely give it away, but did we really care?
No, no one cared, but
they
it
had
was
a kid. Why, who cares if they're married or not? They're more committed than Sam is with his wife. Which I think I'm going to give away a scoop here. I checked in with Sam and his wife last night. Left it in.
Really?
Thanks to me. I was on the phone with them while they were doing it. I'm like, don't pull. And I was telling her to arch her back up.
It's all good advice.
Just get some of the angles down. You got a baby coming in your family pretty soon.
Yeah, I think we're like 7 weeks away.
Are you going in?
No, I'm not going to
go in and watch the baby's head come out of your niece's vagina.
I don't feel comfortable doing that.
Whole families go in now.
Oh, yeah, I've seen the guest list.
Well, a lot of times you can go in, and then when they start to push, the uncles and brothers leave.
Yeah, both new grandmothers are going in.
And staying the whole time?
Yeah. The baby daddy's going in.
But you have to, dude.
Yeah.
They'll beat you to death with sticks if you don't do it.
And I'm not sure, but the new grandpas might be going in. I've heard that maybe there.
Shelby, what did you think of James Corden's show last night?
I thought it was pretty good, but I don't know why they didn't throw a little of this Craig Ferguson's way. Like, he had half a set his whole time on the show, and now they give Corden, like, the biggest one.
Did you ever see what happened when Regis left his crappy little studio? They built that thing out like it was the Astrodome in 1966. They always sink money into new projects. And then projects that are working, they will always take money out of. I remember when Fez and I went to work at WJFK, Howard Stern in the morning, Donna Mike, just had been a cash cow for like 15, 20 years. And we walked in that place and we're like, Jesus Christ, it's a shit box. And nothing works. Because that's what they take money out of and put it into whatever news station that they're doing. It's just something that happens with corporate people. Something that works, the hell with it. And something that's new, let's just throw a ton of cash at. Standard ridiculousness. But did you care about the set?
That's what struck me the most, that there was people on the ground, people in stands, there's all this elevated thing, a giant band.
Didn't they look too far away, though?
Yeah.
I thought the audience was too far away. I wouldn't want to, send a stand-up out there. It just, they're above and far away. It's like as awful as you can get.
The band setup seemed a lot bigger than I was expecting, because I was just thinking Reggie, keyboards, and his looping machine.
Well, it was Reggie. He asked for the band. Which I'm not even sure. I think they named the band Karen.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, it's like Reggie and Karen.
I dug the female bassist, though. That's always a good move.
Oh, yeah, always a great move. Lewis in Manhattan.
Hey, what's up, guys? I think Jimmy Fallon and all these other guys, I think they're onto something. I think maybe, Ron, you should update on Mass. Play, games that you would normally play in the park. Like, if you have Wanda Sykes on, you play Double Dutch. You're playing hopscotch with Larry David. It'll be cool.
I think that you are, why be an adult? And the set should look like you're like a 13-year-old's bedroom. You know what I mean? There just should be pictures of One Direction, and then you get up there and you play some games. Your mom comes in, you yell at her to get out. Just get out. Eric, how are you?
Hey, guys. Ron, I got you mentioned some actors being kind of empty vessels is one thing I wanted to say to you. I've heard some comedians that they don't always get away with the hang. Sometimes they are their act and don't do so well with it either. But I also wanted to ask you what you thought about Larry Wilmore's show. I haven't heard you guys mention it all that much.
Larry is a really talented guy. The show feels a little boxed in right now, but I imagine that the pressure must be immense. You're following a legendary show, and then the show, your big lead-in, is leaving. I'm sure everyone's just walking around there wondering what is next.
That'll happen in the course of like 2 months.
Yeah. And then the other guy went to HBO and has a hit when he'd have The Daily Show right now. The Daily Show would be his. And he's doing his once a week Sunday night HBO gimmick.
That would make more sense for him to take over for Colbert. For me, Wilmore, the show just seems like one of these Comedy Central shows that they used to put on that maybe would last 1 or 2 seasons and then they'd just get rid of it. It doesn't seem like, oh yeah, this is going to be around for 10 years like Colbert.
You're really smart. You're a really smart guy. Do you ever notice that about him?
He's a genius.
He's got an executive's mind. Larry Wilmore would skate around you like there's no tomorrow. You remind me of a guy who sits around saying Peyton blows. Peyton just sucks. He doesn't have that scat thing that we're looking for.
I'd cut him tomorrow.
I would.
You're
man.
out of here. Clean out your locker.
One time, seriously, we're up at a fucking Phil's game where they take our whole baseball team, and it was like when I'm like 13 or 14 years old, and our coach says, I'm forgetting who we fucking pointed at. It might have been the great Willie Montanez. I don't know. He goes, I wish I was coach of this team for one day. I'd fire that son of a bitch right there. And I go, boy, you really let this coach, you work in Scott Paper during the day, right? You're not a real coach. It's fucking amazing how smart everybody is. But I'll tell you this, Fez Watley, producer mine, you pulled it off last night. Everything that you said came true. I think you're ready to do a late night show. Maybe you take Shelby with you. He's got some big ideas himself.
He's just going to cut things out of my budget.
Yeah, he doesn't like other people's ideas. He doesn't have any ideas, but he sure as hell doesn't care for others. John in Indiana.
Hey there, Ronnie B. Just wanted to know if Fezzy, King of the Gays, caught up on his Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, I still haven't caught up with it yet.
Well, this will help you out that nobody was impressed with Michael Sam at that veteran combine.
Yeah, the first ever.
Yeah. And I saw him on Dancing with the Stars last night, and it's the first time that he ever looked big. You know how they say, like, he's not big enough? He looked for the first time like a lineman when he was dancing.
He looks big next to his fiance.
They gave him some nice grades. But the truth is that little fucking, I shouldn't say fucking, but that rumor Willis can dance like you wouldn't believe.
Really?
Yeah, like she grew up in a dancing family. Phenomenal.
Wow, I guess she's the favorite.
I don't know. There's a couple of good dancers on there. So I don't know who's favorites or not. But I know when I didn't watch the whole show, but I watched her and I'm like, damn, she, because there was some heat last week, so I wanted to make sure I clocked it. Because you can just never tell who can dance.
Yeah, and I love it when someone like that takes it really seriously.
They all take it serious. That whole show wants to stay on every year. Like, you know how the comics go out early? They're always pissed. Because you get a lot of fucking rub off that show. And you get more money the longer you stay on. So, yeah, everybody goes there and wants to at least go deep into that thing.
The athletes always do really well. There's been NFL players that have won this thing.
I would say the athletes that do well play at what's known as skill positions. You know what I mean? Like you want to be a halfback or you want to be a wide receiver. Mm-hmm. I don't know how good the NFL players like the big guys do, like your boy.
Sap.
Yeah, he looked like sap to me out there. And he was just poured sweat, just pouring sweat. Like you're wondering where it came from.
That's not going to get you home votes.
So I think Mike Sam will hang around for a while, unlike the NFL. But are you disappointed that they're saying he's running like 5'9", 40s or something crazy?
Yeah, just horrible times. Yeah, I'm hugely disappointed because I feel like, well, there's such a window to get into the NFL, and through homophobia and bias, his is closing up quickly.
I don't know how homophobia could slow him down at a 40, dude.
Well, he's getting older.
Seriously.
By the second.
I understand that, but, there are things that you have to be able to do there. He's not big enough to play one position. He's not fast enough to play the other. I don't know how you get around that. There's a lot of guys that play good college ball that don't make it in the pros. They're just not built for it.
Yeah, I'm starting to get concerned.
Well, at least his agent lets you watch games.
Oh, yeah. I have the email.
Mm-hmm. So big night for James Corden. And Fez was right. Tom Hanks was the idea first guest. I thought he was just going to go out there and beat Tom Hanks. Mm-hmm. But he split it open. And now everybody's going to want to go on. Like if you're Will Ferrell, you're like, hey, I could do that bit.
I'd love to do that.
I could be the next guy to do it. I don't know if everybody. I don't know if you could put Al Pacino in that position and he could pull it off. You've got to have a lot of movies and you got to be able to be funny with them.
Yeah, well, I mean, Hanks was perfect because people will be talking about, remember Corden's first guest because he did that bit.
Well, did you look at the Twitter last night?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it kind of blew up and they managed to pull off like a 7th or 8th, trending 7th or 8th. It's great. That's great for them.
First guest will always set the tone. I'm going to quiz you here. I'll give you a late night talk show, and the host. Tell me who the first guest is.
All right. Let me just try to think of who you're talking about here. Are we going back to Carson?
No, not going back to Carson.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Late Night, the NBC show, Late Night with David Letterman.
I know this one because he also brought him over to do the CBS show. And it's legendary because, he apparently went and sang "Let's Get Physical" too long. But whenever you go back and watch it, it's not as long as it is in Dave's head. But the great Bill Murray.
Bill Murray was first guest on the Late Night with David Letterman show. David Letterman's first guest, because that was his first late night show.
Well, yeah, and that's a really great one because you did have to set a tone that this was not going to be the Tonight Show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Letterman even said, if you watch the clip, Letterman even says about wearing like a coat and tie.
Did he wear a coat and tie?
No, but it was like, hey, I told you last night, don't worry about a coat and tie. And everyone laughed at how casual Murray was looking.
Well, he ended up in one. Remember, he used to do, at NBC, he did the jacket, tie, and jeans. And then when he went over to CBS, he was a big boy and started wearing suits. And he never wears jeans anymore. See, that's the producing things that I hate.
Uh-huh.
And that you love, right? Like, we're going to take you, we're at Pocket Square. We'll turn this show around.
I'm sure there was a huge debate when he went to started wearing his glasses as opposed to the contacts.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. You would see.
So he always needed glasses?
Yeah, because on the late night show on NBC, he did the show with contacts, but if they ever went to a video bit with him and Paul, he's got the glasses on.
That's interesting. And this is all back in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and this is all on the interrobang.com. It's the first guess of late night TV talk show host.
All right, well, then let me look it up during this quiz.
No, don't look.
Why can't I look?
Because I'm quizzing you.
Okay.
All right, Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel.
His first guest.
Well, I'm going to give you a little thing here because this is like a trick thing. That when he started, he used co-host. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't remember it even.
He did it for, I don't know, the first few months. And so I don't know who, I'm trying to guess who the first co-host was. I know I don't know the first guest. I believe the first co-host was a rapper, though. I don't know whether it was Cube or somebody like that or somebody along those lines. And I can't think of his guest. I know he had a rough time coming up. You know, most people have a really rough time with their show where everyone hates them at first. Like everybody hated Conan at first.
Right, yeah.
And you're like, why? Why do you hate this man? You know?
We don't know who he is.
Yeah, there were people already forget this. When Jimmy Fallon was starting his show, everyone was like, this is a disaster just based on some stuff that he was doing online leading up to it. Remember, you even said he was going to be a disaster.
I said that late night with Jimmy Fallon wouldn't last 3 months.
Yeah.
And now he's the host of The Tonight Show.
And number one.
Yeah.
But I'm getting out of the way of answering your question. I can't remember who the first guest was. Let me take a guess and just say an ABC person. Not that I know who's left there anymore.
No, it was not an ABC person.
All right, who was it?
First guest was George Clooney.
Oh, now I remember. He brought out, they started doing shots and everybody got mad.
Yeah, the network got really pissed.
Pissed that I didn't think of that. Who was the co-host?
Snoop Dogg.
And like he stayed the whole week.
Yeah.
He didn't just do one. Wait, you went from not knowing he had a co-host to knowing that he stayed the whole week.
I didn't know it until I saw it on the Interrobang that you're not looking at.
Okay. That really pisses me off. Shelby's putting it up one bump ahead. If you just move that a little more. Go ahead.
All right, who was the late night with Jimmy Fallon first guest when he took over for Conan?
Not the Tonight Show.
No, not the Tonight Show. His first guest as a late night talk show host.
Well, I do remember this one. It sounds like I'm cheating, but I remember because Jimmy had Flop Sweat the only time I've ever seen him before or since with it, and it was impossible. And I saw Letterman really have a rough time with this guest. You'd think he would be a tremendous guest, but he's difficult, Mr. Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro, and that was so awkward.
But I don't remember who was his first guest on The Tonight Show. And I remember when all the people came out and put the dollar down and how funny that is.
Right.
But I don't know who sat next to him on the couch the first night.
Now I can't remember that either.
If anyone knows that, we'll give you a prize. 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ.
Well, the weird thing about the De Niro appearance was they tried to make a bit out of it where Jimmy was set up with questions where he would just take one-word answers from De Niro. And even said, hey, I know you're not the most talkative person. So for the sake of a bit, they used a really bad first guest. Then the actual interview had to start, and the bit wasn't funny anymore.
But I remember somebody came on after that, and he did well with him. He brought one of his friends on.
Yeah, Jimmy got into this thing of really rapid fire questions to him of so you live in New York, right? And you love New York? What do you love about New York? And it was the kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was actually frightening. This is going not well.
I don't think I could be frightened over that. All right, what's next?
Next is The Late Late Show with Craig Kilborn.
I did not know this, but Shelby just ran it up on the screen.
Shelby!
I don't want to be a cheater.
Thank you
I
for
don't want to
letting
be
me
a
know.
cheater. And you know what? Until you said that, I forgot that he went back and did that show after he did The Daily Show. No one remembers that he did The Daily Show now. That never comes up. But anyway, thanks to Shelby, I just remembered who it was. And this is one I never saw. Bill Murray.
Yeah. You just got the show after Letterman, so you take Letterman's first guest. I don't like it.
Can I just say this? It's easy for people not to like Craig Kilborn.
Oh, watch the interview on the iBang. He is so unlikable in this interview. First of all, it's a combination of insulting and kissing Bill Murray's ass all at the same time.
I consider him the original dude bro. He was the pre-Maxim. So, you got to give him credit for that.
He goes into, you didn't win the Oscar. You got ripped off, man.
Shelby, did you look up who this guest was before I give out the prize? All right. I'm just going to go to it. Patty, what do you got?
Was it Tina Fey?
Was it Tina Fey?
It was not Tina Fey.
Here is, and we're going back to the first guest on the Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon.
Just a little over a year ago.
Ryan.
It was Will Smith, Ronnie.
Will Smith?
The first guest was Will Smith.
I remember the first musical guest was U2 that they did up on the roof, and it was gorgeous, and they were, top of the rock, and they're like, yeah, this is something we're going to do a lot, and then I don't know if they've ever done it again.
I don't think they have.
They couldn't get the permit again.
Is that right?
Probably.
I wonder who you'd have to get the permit from, only from the thing. It's not like it's ever going to bother anyone on the street, like when Letterman does his stuff.
But then him and Will Smith did that whole evolution of hip-hop dancing, and they were both wearing overalls. And
so you did remember it?
Yeah.
But you didn't bring it up to us when we were talking about it. I had to go to the phones.
Yeah.
He gets smart after he reads Wikipedia. You know what? You're like a cyborg. You got a little Wikipedia brain there.
The Wikibot.
All right, so the Craig Kilborn you would have stumped me on completely. First of all, you would have just stumped me if you said, who are all the people who've got on after Dave?
Bill Murray would have been my last guest for the Late Late Show with Craig Kilborn.
But I'm going to tell you this, Craig Kilborn wasn't the first person to go on after him.
Who was the first person after Dave?
You really don't remember?
I'm trying to think. No, I thought that all got set up together. Like, Dave moved to CBS, and then they set up a new Late Late Show.
No. I'll give you this hint. It's the guy that Dave replaced when he went to NBC.
Oh, okay. I can picture him.
Come on. Philadelphia's own.
Yeah. It was Tom Snyder.
It was Tom Snyder. We got all kinds of little facts and trivia things here today. This is like a really bad cocktail party that we're having.
Tom Snyder, big smoker on television.
The last smoker.
Yeah.
The last smoker.
Okay, who was the first guest on the very first Late Night with Conan O'Brien?
I'm looking to see if Shelby moves that, and he has it right now.
The man who replaced David Letterman.
I just saw him whip through it again.
Shelby, you're killing me.
Saw it. Why are you doing that?
Just want to put it in the right spot.
Why? This is not a
with
visual show. Because you didn't know, right? Is that why you did it?
I have no idea. Could be any celebrity of the thousands that are out there.
It's Roseanne's husband from TV. I just saw it whip by.
Yeah, John Goodman.
Why are you sliding that? All right, John Goodman was his first. I wouldn't have known that either. I'm knowing good when I get visual clues. And then I even know he called him Roseanne's husband, which you could have said Tom Arnold.
If these were all video daily doubles, you'd be scoring big time.
I don't know what the show's that's from.
That's from Jeopardy. And then Conan made a big deal, the videos on the iBang, of John Goodman being his first guest. And there was like a big paparazzi scene of John Goodman coming out.
He must have really been popular then, huh?
Yeah. Well, the Flintstones was getting ready to come out.
Wow, you can't beat that.
So
Can't
that was
beat
going to
the
be
Flintstones.
yeah, that was going to be gigantic. The first Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
I do know this because it was awful that he did a parody of Bette Midler's thing and made everybody cringe. Billy Crystal.
Yeah, that was bad.
Not that Billy Crystal isn't a great talk show guest. He's one of the best. But doing that, because Jay went on a Monday when the other show ended on a Friday, and it should always be 2 weeks. 2 weeks minimum.
Yep.
That you start a new show.
That is a producer thing there. But it was just came off insensitive. Less than 3 days since Carson had said goodbye after 30 years.
Right.
And you're basically making fun of his goodbye with Bette Midler.
Yeah.
That was really bad. And the set was, because Johnny had the NBC Peacock rainbow curtain, and the set just looked really weird after 30 years of Johnny Carson.
He didn't even stay with that new set.
No, that purple thing, it looked like Prince's bedroom.
Yeah, that's right. It was very purple, and he used dark colors everywhere, and they were just trying to be the anti-thing, and people were just like, I don't know. Where's Dave?
Yeah, that went quick.
Where's Dave? What channel's Dave on?
And then Leno stuck with him because Crystal was the goodbye show guest twice. The first time Leno said goodbye to The Tonight Show, and the last time Leno said goodbye to The Tonight Show.
Well, I think Billy's as close as Jay comes to having an actual friend.
Yeah, those two are thick as thieves.
They see each other every 15 years. Because if you remember on that, there wasn't even we're buddies.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, you're good and I respect your talents.
Yeah.
Come in here,
Yeah, I need someone really, really funny because people already miss Johnny so badly. We didn't even get a chance to miss Johnny.
Yeah, you gotta have that little break in between shows.
That's why Colbert is doing it so smart. He's not coming on for 4 months after Letterman leaves.
Yeah. Wait, when's Letterman leaving?
Letterman leaves in May.
I am not ready for that.
Yeah, May 20th, Letterman's last show. And Colbert starts the day after Labor Day in September.
That's a smart date, too.
Yeah, everyone's back. It's new school year feel.
Right.
New fall season on TV.
Designer drugs.
It just all fits.
Everybody's doing their designer drugs. Here's Bob. Bob in Illinois. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got a trivia question for Fez. Who was Chevy Chase's last guest on his short-lived show?
Was the last guest also the first guest?
No, I don't think it was.
Oh, he got more than one show. I have no idea.
I think it was his mom. You'd have to look it up. I can't remember, but it was really sad and ridiculous. I remember watching it.
It didn't last that long either.
No. I can't imagine it was on more than a month or two.
Is this part of your guest thing?
No, I didn't include Chevy Chase in this.
Because I was going to try Beverly D'Angelo if you did.
That would have been a great idea.
It might have been the only one that I saw, but Beverly D'Angelo was on there. And I remember that he had a fish tank.
I don't remember that at all.
I remember that they had also named the building after him.
Oh, my God.
And how long did they keep that show? Like a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I don't think it lasted a month. It didn't seem like it. And it was just gone. I remember Chevy seemed to have a really big chair. Like his chair was too big.
I think that was a time in his life where Chevy was having a lot of back problems, if you know what I mean.
Oh, okay. Needed a lot more support.
Well, I meant everything about him was dealing with back problems.
Needed a chair he wouldn't fall out of.
I'm trying to do a pill joke with you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get you to pick up on the fact that I'm not sure Chevy even remembers that. All right, what else you got?
Who was the first guest on the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson?
I just looked over to see if the kid moved it again. Was it a Brit?
Yes, it was.
Was it Stephen Fry?
No, it was not Stephen Fry, but very, very close.
close to Stephen Fry?
Yes.
His old partner?
His old partner, Hugh Laurie.
Yeah, House.
Yeah. The house doctor.
You really gave it away by saying really close, because I'm like,
you would have been guessing Brits for a little bit.
Well, yeah, because it was like Laurie and Fry was their thing. You know, I don't know whether you remember this, but that they actually did on-air auditions for that show. And it went on for, I think, the summer. Like, one dude would get a week, then the next person would get a week. And I remember thinking it was going to be Michael Ian Black's show. I'm like, this is Michael Ian Black's to lose. I wasn't counting on the British guy or the Scottish guy who played the boss.
The mean boss.
Yeah.
On Drew Carey's sitcom.
All right, these are all up on the iBang today. Here's Sean. Sean.
Hey, Ronnie. Hey, Fez, we were talking about Chevy Chase. Do you remember what his go-to little skit was when he would first come out every night?
No,
Trip? Did he trip?
No, he would shoot a basketball at a basketball goal.
All right,
Really?
here is Mike remembering the same thing. Mike.
Yes. Yeah, he came out, because Magic Johnson was one of his first guests. He
But
came
then
out and shot a
Magic Johnson
basketball.
ended up replacing him.
Yeah, he
For a
had the
short
talk
time.
show.
Yeah, that could be, but Chevy Chase would come out and shoot a basketball like that other caller said.
For that
every
show not
time.
lasting long, people have a lot of memories of it. People are calling about that more than any other show.
They're doing better than me. I wonder if his basketball shot was just like an homage to Johnny Carson's golf swing. I need my own little athletic
Well, did he shoot
signature.
an actual ball?
Yeah, he would shoot an actual ball.
Well,
Now that
Johnny wasn't driving anything.
no, it was just pantomime.
You know what's funny is like Johnny wasn't even a famous golfer. He was like somewhat of a famous amateur tennis player, but I never heard about him golfing.
That's right. I never even thought of that.
Thank you.
30 years of golf swings.
I'm doing good as your guest today. Now, the only difference between yours is going on way longer than Jimmy Fallon's stuff.
Oh, yeah, any of his games.
Yeah, this game is just lasting and lasting.
This is one that I didn't even remember, and it was just a year ago. Late Night with Seth Meyers' first guest.
I remember because a year later, he had the same guest on, and they made a big deal out of it on the 1 year anniversary of it, and she had her farewell show on there, and it's Amy Poehler.
Oh, yeah, it took the whole cast on.
Now, Seth was very smart because he went immediately to a lot of his old SNL friends, right?
Yeah.
And that's people that he was very comfortable with. And to me, that's much more important than having, a Tom Cruise on. You got to have people that you can interact with and be funny with.
Yeah, he did cast members, writers, and then put Fred Armisen right across the stage from him.
Yeah.
Which had to feel comfortable to him.
Yeah, and Fred interacts and does shit like that all the time with him. So, yeah, that was a smart one.
This is going to be a difficult one, I think. The very first guest on the Pete Holmes Show on TBS.
I watched this show, and I know it was one of his friends. And I can't remember who right now.
Yeah.
By the way, Pete Holmes had a terrific show. Pete Holmes' show should have lasted. I mean, when people are saying, oh, we want you to do something different than everyone else, he did that. And then the network didn't stay long enough. But it felt like they were only maybe one or two big things from making that happen. He did a funny show. But you're waiting for an answer. You're just staring at me waiting for an answer.
You are right with friend of his. Longtime friend of his.
I know that DeRosa was no material Seinfeld. DeRosa was back on Better Call Saul last night.
I still haven't seen it.
You haven't seen anything? What do you do down there?
A lot of times I just don't turn on the TV set.
You gave me a call last night that said you had a toenail removed, and then you kept telling me how much it hurt, and then you told me you were going to eat, and I'm like, this is more information than men share.
Just wanted you to know where I was at in case this toe started hemorrhaging.
Shelby, did you watch the Pete Holmes show?
Yeah, I thought it was great. But yeah, it was kind of weird that he changed it up and that guests, he would maybe interview him at a bar, interview him on his little chairs at a couch. It looked different every night.
Yeah.
That might have thrown people off.
Yeah, people like, you see how much Fez is paying attention to, where the chair is and sets and shit like that. People act like they want change, but they really don't. You don't remember who his guest was?
No.
What do you got?
It was Kumail Nanjiani.
All right, that's good. And then I remember they even did a joke, something like, "No one knows you, so you brought out someone else no one knows," and it was like a funny joke, but really it's why you bring Tom Hanks out.
Yeah, if you can get Tom Hanks, go ahead, book it.
Yeah,
save the date.
That was a tough one.
All right,
but I hope Pete Holmes gets another TV show because he's good.
This last one will be a tough one, I think. The very first guest on Chelsea Lately, hosted by Chelsea Handler.
I know this. It was Joe Coy. See, that's why it's hard. She did the big roundtable thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes even instead of having guests. So I don't know who did Chelsea Lately. Aniston.
No, not Jennifer Aniston. That's a really good guest, though.
That's her friend.
It was Steve-O.
That's weird.
From Jackass.
That's weird. That doesn't even seem like that would have happened that way.
And it got very Jackassy right off the bat with Steve-O dropping his pants.
What did you expect him to do? Read poetry?
That would have been a refreshing change.
It would have just been different.
These are all up on the interrobang.com. The first guest of TV's late night talk show hosts.
All right. I'm just going to tell you this. Rennie B, I turn on your show and Fez is fucking crushing it like a fucking champion.
Oh, don't say that.
Fez is not only the back, he's the best there is. This is so great and made my day. All right, so keep coming up with different shows. Merv Griffin, Mike Douglas, the old Dinah Shore.
I'm going to have to go into some heavy research here.
Who was on the Virginia Graham show? You didn't even get that reference, did you?
No, I didn't.
That goes way back early TV. She had a coffee and chat show.
Oh.
Well, it was good stuff. Good stuff there, Fez. First guest with Fez Whatley.
First guest.
Tomorrow, I want you to, you did that great segment. Tomorrow, I want you to do second guests and see if I can come up with it.
Who did these first guests move down the couch for?
In a way, Mila Kunis is also first guest, and she's not going to get the heat.
Yeah, she won't get the credit.
We won't remember credit. It's only you. No one else sits around and worries about who first guest was.
When we revisit this years from now, she won't get the credit. Even though she was introduced first.
Shelby, what did you now just put up? He's flashing so many visuals in front of me during the show, Fez. You act like you're in the big executive producer. You don't know how distracting. And then earlier, he was over here just banging on Lappy 5000.
Just like someone let a toddler loose in the studio. He's got to touch everything.
He's got to make sure it's all working. But we've been talking about a lot of guys. You know, every late night show is just a guy.
Wait, are you trying to do a segue?
Yeah.
Okay. So why? What is the thing of you? You know, I saw Fez talking about. I see just a girl with a big ass there.
That's not just a girl. That's Jen Selter, Instagram's ass queen.
Is she the queen?
Yeah.
Now, that picture that you're showing, she looks like she's letting it get away from her.
Really?
Yeah, that's... I mean, she goes for the muscular ass, right?
Yeah, she's a fitness model if you asked what her profession was.
Doesn't her ass look bigger there than you've ever seen before?
Yeah, it's great. She's at the top of her game. I don't know why you're saying she's slipping. I think she's never looked better.
I didn't say she was slipping. I'm saying the ass is getting away from her. That's all. Who are our interns today?
We have V and Anthony.
See, I wish that we would have had the other intern, who I think is a little more precious when it comes to this. I think he would have. I think MK might have backed me up. Look, it's fantastic ass, Shelby, but look at the shade it's throwing over that pool.
Yeah, that's what she wants. That's what America and the world wants. They want this ass to get as big as possible.
Stop being in character and just be a person. This is out of character for you. If this is your opportunity to try to show people that you're straight, stop being so fucking aggressive with it.
You can't not be aggressive.
From your segue on, you're coming across as fake.
You can't not be aggressive if you're talking about Jen Selter's ass.
I never heard you talk about any woman before other than the fake Arabian girl that you made out with on a swing and the girl that you got coat tit from. And no one believes either one of those stories. All right, so what exactly is the name of this bit on there?
These are the 10 best Jen Selter Instagram pics that she's ever taken.
Now, you put this list together yourself?
Put it together myself. Compiled it.
How come you didn't get how come you didn't get a byline?
You know, I don't want to take all the credit for it. I just want to put it out to the world. It's not about me. It's about Jen Selter and her giant ass. If you see me on the byline, that's all you're thinking about.
God, when did he become hip hop fucking like this? You let somebody. Whoa! Now see that I feel like is in control. Now let me just say this for the people at home: if you want to go over and see this on the Interrobang, it's pretty outrageous, and I'll look forward to your comments as well. But she's upside down here, standing, doing a handstand. Now, Fez. Have you ever heard the term heart-shaped ass?
Yes, I've heard that phrase.
That is a heart shape right there. You could draw a heart from that to the middle of her back.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's a perfectly formed heart-shaped ass.
If I didn't know this was Jen Selter, I would say this person is either photoshopping this or wearing some sort of prosthetic. But this is Jen Selter at the top of her game. You can't look better than that.
Are there prosthetic asses?
Yeah, a lot of people now with like Jen Selter, she's gotten huge for her ass on Instagram. They try to then Photoshop their ass, but they don't do it so well. So you see like background images are also kind of weird, and then people just call them out on being a fake ass. It's, you got to go real or nothing.
All right, I'll just say Pool's Keeper son said this. Shelby might be Robert Durst's son.
Robbie Durst Jr.
He just murders asses. He doesn't compile the 10 best ones. I mean, look at the third one. She's transitioned into wearing workout pants.
All right, now I'm glad that you put that. Look at that picture.
Yes.
And where her ass is there. Now go back to the pool picture. That's an ass that's getting away from you, my friend. That is twice the ass as the one that you picked out here, number 3.
She has to outdo herself. She can't just have the same ass month after month, year after year. She has
What
to
does
have
she do?
Get
Put
bigger.
up a picture a day?
Yeah.
How about dropping the character and just being Shelby so we can have a conversation? This ass in the pool is twice the size of Yoga Pants' ass. Which, by the way, go back to Yoga Pants. That's not... Go down. Oh, no, she's in the little gray shorts. It seems like you'd want more skin to show if you were putting together the 10 best asses. That's just my opinion.
I think you'd think that, but the yoga pants, they really show off the ass more than any other pants.
Pants. If we were to talk like they talk on TV, it's the pants.
I mean, I would understand how she wants to keep her greatest asset here prominent. Do you have to carb up? I mean, is she trying to gain weight in the ass? I don't know how it would work.
I don't think that you can. You can only do it through exercise. But I don't know if you could, through some diet, put weight into the ass. It's a fine question, Fez. But I'm just going to guess that it can't work that way.
She calls herself a fitness model when she's just an ass model. I mean, no one's going for her.
So
like,
you're angry.
bicep pics.
You're angry when you defend her, and you're angry when you attack her. Where exactly is this on the iBank too?
This is right in the Wire Stories 10 best Jen Selter Instagram shots to stare at all
my
day.
My computer hasn't even caught up to this yet. For some reason, California drought puts kibosh on skiing. Why would that pop up in the middle of the show?
That's what I have.
Now I found it's like 4 or 5 down, Fez.
If you wanted more skin, the fourth one down, it's her on the rocks in a bikini, a very revealing bikini. It's probably a normal bikini, but her ass just can't contain it.
You say that, but that ass is half the size of pool ass. Half the size. And you're saying she had a big ass there.
Yeah.
I wish there was a human being, a hetero human being I could discuss this with.
This is like...
I'm going to bring in Anthony. I'm going to bring in Anthony. I don't want V coming in here all urban and hip-hop and like, boom, boom, boom. That's how the asses go.
Can't understand her.
All right, Anthony, you're coming in shaking. You're shaking us off.
It's too big.
Too big.
Wow.
That fucking kid's gay.
No. Listen. It's out of control. The bathing suit's is eating it. I don't need that in my life.
That's too big for you.
Too
when you're
big.
Italian.
I need a nice. I'm more of a chest man. I'm a chesticles guy.
So in the breast and ass, you choose breast.
I choose breasts.
Yeah. Now I can understand that, but I don't know why anybody wants to downplay one for the other. I mean, life is so short.
I mean, that is
Fez, you have no idea how to jump into this at all.
I don't have a clue. It all looks obnoxious to me.
But see, that's so anti-gay. Gays are obsessed with women's style and bodies, and you're turned off right now.
Yeah, I just don't see anything there in any of these photos.
This is the non-gay thing, just so you know that. If we had actual gay people, they would be filled with opinions. Now, go to the latest. Wow. That go down one more, 2 more. All right, there's the ass at that point. Now go back to the top, and that ass has just gotten humongous.
But it's not a fat ass, like literally fat. There's no fat to this thing. It's perfectly toned. You could bounce a quarter off of it.
All right, Green Lightning says this. Who is this woman and why isn't she bouncing on my dick right now? And did she sneak a scat pic into her portfolio? This is the problem with this, is that people take it
We
to
gotta get
bathroom
these
functions.
They gotta hack into her Instagram or something. She's gotta have something on there, no?
Well, she puts everything out, right?
Yeah, these are not
Yeah,
pics
these are
taken of her.
These are safe for work.
That's safe for work?
Junior says, looks like 2 penises.
Oh, we're not gonna do that again, are we?
Hey, Stone Cold.
Hey, what's up, cousins? I just wanted to say, Fezzy, you sound like $1 million. Shelby, I didn't know you were a little lesbian. That ass will break you off and have you crying in the Portland desert, you stupid son of a bitch.
He is right about that. Shelby couldn't use that ass for anything other than an overnight camping trip. You are not man enough for that.
You could camp on this, the 5th pic down. She's standing on a balcony. You could sit on her ass. It's that big.
Jimmy Olsen Blues says, I get very uncomfortable when Ron and Fez tease at Liz Sets Fire's true love. And I hope that's Selter and not Shelby. I think she's over the Shelby thing. Richard says, Shelby, drop the character and try being a person, as I said to Shelby. And he says, great advice. Try it with Fez. Luke says Fez just had a pretty good first hour. What we'll call the hashtag Fez tears that are sure to follow. Why bring up anything negative when he had a great first hour?
People despise it either way.
Why do they despise anything?
It makes no sense to me. Just sit back and enjoy.
I might need aspirins. I got a goddamn headache on the top of my head.
I got real aspirin if you want.
I mean real aspirin.
As opposed to what's in the medicine cabinet here at SiriusXM.
No, I want real aspirin. I don't know what... Now you're freaking me out because you're telling me you got the good shit when it comes to an aspirin.
Yeah, it's...
And what is it, a Mickey?
No, it's aspirin as opposed to the unaspirin that we have here in the lunchroom.
I don't know why you would bring outside things. I'm looking for an aspirin. You say I have one, but then you're like, not like what's down there, which is Jelly Bellies.
Do you want to take both? I mean, one of them has to work.
I like the mix.
V, run up to my desk and get the aspirin off of it.
Oh, Jesus, the way he orders women around. Seriously, that sounds terrible.
Please.
What are you doing, Shelby?
Look, you got to take a pic.
But you didn't do the pic above that. What is wrong with you? Now you're back on her team?
She's got, it's magnificent.
See, your whole argument of her tits and ass.
I'm a tits man. I am a tits man, but...
No one said you had to choose anything.
I feel like I should choose.
That'd be like making Fez choose between cock and balls. They're both available to everybody.
Is that the equivalent to it? Would
Yeah.
it be... It's like...
That's the actual thing.
What do you like, the cock or the balls?
Yes. You a cock man or a ball
balls man?
Well, Fez, guys go for the ace as well, right?
Yeah.
I'm a guy's ass, though.
It's like saggy cottage cheese.
Yeah. There's no such thing as a decent guy's ass. I guess they say anybody who's ever had spine problems gets a nice ass.
Jen Selter, she was born with spina bifida.
Are you fucking kidding?
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
100% true.
That's why this is great.
She was in a bed her first 10 years of being alive, so it's a miracle she looks like this.
So that's why she has that arch in her lower back?
Yeah, that's called a sway back, Fezzy. Nice fucking old school titty bar sway back, as they would say. So that's why her ass is magnificent.
She was in a brace like her whole life. Kids teased her, and then she showed up at homecoming looking like this, and everybody was amazed.
Yeah, and then she had to get the nose fixed and a tit job.
Yeah.
Because this comes up in the thing, she does wear a lot of sunglasses.
Yeah, I'm trying to see her face. What does her face look like?
No, that's not for you to ponder.
cares?
She's butter?
No one's ever seen it.
They're behind those cop glasses. It looks like she's fucking on a motorcycle in between trees, ready to come pulling out.
The ass is in the back. You don't need to worry about what's on the front.
You're
All
right.
right, stop being strong with us, all right, fucky? This is going to go to bad places for you. You're fucking...
Fucking...
You're moving. First of all, you're in a fucking hurry, right? When this is something to savor. It's like you went to a. Thank you. This is the real aspirin.
That's the real aspirin.
It just says bear. He's acting like he gets aspirin no one else gets.
The one down
You're not going to find that here in this building.
I don't even know. I don't know why I would go looking for it.
It's
Anywhere
actual
else.
ass/print. It's even better.
Aspirin spelled with a Z.
Yeah. Shelby's feeling good about his slideshow and has decided to start improvising. Where is she here? Greece? What is going... Where does she take this ass? The ass is on the road.
You can't just take them in some gym forever. People are going to get bored. You have to add some scenery behind them, change up the outfits.
Alberta says she should hook up with the real ass dude. South Jersey Rich says, look like Jen has a lot of aspirin. Just stealing the fucking joke that got done here. Magic says, sometimes it looks good, sometimes it looks out of control. She's too assed. Her ass looks like the pearly gates. You're not buying it at all, Anthony.
Not really, no. I don't know. It's ass implants are like the rage nowadays.
Yeah, for like going bad. They have not perfected them like they have nearly
Why would
for...
someone want to put something into their fucking ass like that?
I would just be worried that it's going to explode because I'm sitting on it all day. I mean, if I get breast implants, they're just there, but I mean, you're actually using your ass.
I saw you going through a thing looking for calf implants. He's like, I've always hated. I go, what are you doing? He says, I've always hated my calves. I said, I've always hated you. Can you get a fucking Shelby implant? Shelby, have you ever dressed up like Jagger and tried to pantomime to that?
I've not dressed up, no.
Have you pantomimed?
Yeah.
Do you look like him?
Not. He's supposed to be not that good looking, and I don't even reach that. So no.
Believe me, when people find him very attractive. Remember when Mooch did the impression that day? I was almost jacked on the floor.
It was fantastic.
That was disgusting. I don't think it's right. I think it crosses a line to be turned on by your buddies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if the gay guy is going to be accepted as part of the crew, you can't just start crushing on the straight buddy.
But I wasn't, like, mauling him.
You were close, and everyone picked up on it, and everyone got uncomfortable, and he ended up moving to another ocean. I wonder why I got this fucking headache like this. Oh, no, I remember doing this show. You fuckers.
Just look at this ass. It'll make your head feel even better.
We get it. You're so fucking straight.
Straight as a freeway.
Yeah. You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to put you in a fucking wheelchair with an American flag over your lap, and you can run a thing called Baby Hustler for kids your age. Look at the ass on this one, Larry Flint. This girl's ass. She looks great. I'd eat through a half a mile of her shit just to get to that ass. What is she doing here? My Beth?
This is actually, she's rubbing coffee on herself, which...
I hope so.
I mean, it proves she's not that smart. Everything is going to her ass.
I hope it's not leakage.
But this is ups it even more. Now she's putting stuff on it. I mean, it's great. And now, I'm sure you can show a bare ass, but one with just muddy coffee rubbed all over it.
Hold your lips back when you're doing more than 2 sentences. I want to be able to understand you. This next one that you got, she's just lifting weights.
She is a fitness model, in quotes, after all.
That might be the worst picture of her I can see.
Yeah, that one looks like an ass implant, I would guess, if I had never seen it before, but it's 100% real.
You could put an 8 set of china on there and serve dinner. Kids, time for dinner. Everyone gather around Jen's ass.
Can we eat in the living room? Have her back in.
Pull out a cheek as a fucking end table. See, Fez, you just don't seem gay to me.
I'm very gay.
Well, you should be all catty and interesting about this.
I mean, that shot looks like it's a power lifter.
Well, she is a lifter.
A male power lifter.
No guy has an ass like that. The best guy's ass.
Flathead just writes this. She has that disease that I like the most. Assmostis. It's fucking ridiculous. All right, enough of this one. That was terrible. There's another bad one. What are you doing, Olympic training?
Now that one looks fake.
That one looks great. In yoga pants at the gym.
Yeah. If you're turned on by somebody at the gym,
yeah,
you want a cock. That's what you want.
Women can work out
this
too.
thing is going to go on. It'll be like this. Look at the thick dick on this kid.
One will get snuck in.
He's just going to slidely move along. Yeah, one of these is going to be a picture that he took down his own pants. Whoops, how did that get there? You little fucking weirdo. And you know what? Unless you're starting for the Nationals tomorrow, stop wearing a baseball cap every day. Just figure out what you're doing with your hair. Take your hat off and let me see what's going on up there. Oh my God. You are a fucking third grader. No, hat off.
No.
Hat's off in here. It's like a church.
Over the building.
Keep the hat off. Come on. Fez, make sure no one wears a hat in here anymore.
Hats are off.
Look at this. You look like you should have a... Hey, hat off. You look like you should have to hold a buddy's hand while you walk to the Franklin Museum. Buddy system. Where's Steven? You were his buddy. I'm sorry, I got a Coke. What happened? Fucking homeless man grab him? When they would take us into Philly to go to the thing, our teacher would say this to us. We're on a buddy system. You stay together and stay away from the bums. She didn't even... we didn't have the fucking term homeless. It was just bums. All right, we're ready to head into the museum. Do not go left or right. Run through the bumps. Here's Bigger J.
Hey, what's up, boys?
Yeah.
Hey, if you do a Google search of Jen Selter before, it shows her ass before and after she started working out. And then there's a picture of her nose job. She was a bit hideous before the nose job.
You guys are just cruel.
Hey, just putting it out there. All right, boys.
I don't believe that. How are we supposed to know? First of all, we're not seeing faces on either one of those people.
Look, Barry Bonds, he was twigged at the beginning of his career, and then by the end he was jacked. I mean, sure,
Yeah,
you can
and how
get
did
bigger.
Yes, and how did he
everyone
do
hates
it?
him.
Good old-fashioned hard work.
Look, it's hard to fucking listen to you when you got a 1962 Air Force haircut. Seriously, how did you get that? Who gave you that fucking haircut?
Some Mexican woman.
You're a fucking racist.
She had all the crosses everywhere. There was a flag right above my head when she was...
You look like you get your haircut at the Birch Society.
It makes sense that it was a Mexican woman. You look like a shaved chihuahua.
I really thought I was going to get a laugh out of Fez. I knew you guys wouldn't know Birch Society. But I thought, well, he was a Republican for so long. You know, he was kind of conservative. Hey, Bob in Texas.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Shelby, you were about to say what man has the greatest ass, and you stopped. So
Okay, go ahead, Shelby.
The greatest guy's ass would be the worst woman's ass. I mean, a guy cannot have that great of an ass.
You're not gay at all.
He's lying.
Here's Jen Selter before and after her alleged nose
No,
job.
I like her. I like her with the big nose.
Really?
Yeah, she had a Barbara Streisand look about her there.
Sort of just even out the front from the back.
I don't think she's that good looking.
Well, that's why she wears cop glasses. What she probably did is had the nose taken and put it into the ass cheeks. Look, you got to give the kid all the credit in the world. She turned it around for herself. She had some work done. All right. Someone just wrote this into me. How does she make money off of Instagram? Because she's got a lot of money, it seems like, by her traveling, and she's always in a lot of nice apartments in New York. You know, it looks like places that are 8-10 G's a month. So where's the cheddar coming from?
From different companies.
John's?
Yeah.
What companies?
Just give her workout clothes to wear. That's how those Vine and Instagram comedians, they just, half of their things are just ads. Random things for like the Home Depot. Oh, suddenly you care about Craftsman tools you're making some weird video about?
First of all, why not focus on what we're talking about before you went to Craftsman tools and weird comedians? He's not making his single...
I think Tim Allen just got a shot taken at him.
She didn't buy any of these workout clothes. His were all provided for her.
Okay, that's free clothes. Where's the money come from? You fucking dope. Are you saying that they give her fat cash to put out a picture a day?
Yeah.
What kind of money?
I'm guessing 20 grand a pic.
That's insane.
First of all, it's insane because a crazy person said it. There's no way she's getting $20,000 a picture.
She has to be getting that. I mean, did you see these apartments she's posing in?
Yes,
to
I'm the
afford
one
that?
who fucking brought it up to you. Remember? Seconds ago?
Yeah, the apartment she's posing in, she's got to be getting at least 15, 20 grand for these.
You see what I'm going through, Fez?
I understand.
Maybe she got a sugar daddy.
I doubt. I mean, there's somebody.
Maybe she rents that ass out for billboard space.
Was that all of them, Shelby?
The next one, it's like a plain yoga pant, so that even accentuates the ass even more.
See, this is what I'm trying to say. This is how a gay talks, Fez.
Yeah.
You should learn.
Look, there's no pattern to
You
it.
just said a plain yoga pant that accentuates the ass.
Yeah, there's no.
John said the same thing on Project Runway.
Not all at the same time, guys. One at a time. This is what I want out of you, Fez. What he's doing, I need to put into the Fez character. That's fucking hysterical.
Look, there's no design to just distract you from the ass. It's just a gray pant. Shows how big the ass is. You're not looking at anything else. That's the first thing you look at when you look at this picture.
Was the hat to cover up that fucking pimple in the middle of your forehead?
Yeah.
I mean, have you named that yet?
I was starting to think it was a bug bite.
Yeah, if the bug is coming from the inside. What a fucking greasy forehead little creep he turned into. All right, so is that all of them?
No, there's one more, and this is the best one.
Come on with that picture.
This is just her okay, I don't want to really put on anything. I'll just lean on this couch in the fucking position.
This is finally the truth. This is what the fucking caption should be here. This is a fucking postcard an Arab prince should get. All right, these are all up on the iBang today. I'm sure have far surpassed Fez's stupid first guest. Gary Gulman's due here a little later on today. I need to break. We'll come back and get into some of the big stories of the day. Still looking for a missing plane over the Alps. Doug Stanhope has a new book deal dealing with him and his mom. But, Fezzy, let's talk about Mr. Will Ferrell and the fact that he's ready to ban fraternities. It's the Ron and Fez Show.
Ron and Fez on Raw Dog Comedy. It's Channel 99.
It's the Ron and Fez Show on a Tuesday. Despite, Fezzy, what it says on the tops of this. Gary Gulman's going to be in here in a little bit to make us all laugh, hopefully. Take away some of this pain that we feel just from being human beings. The existential pain. Where's your eternal pain, Fezzy, on a scale of 1 to 10?
9.
Mine's a solid 10. Sorry. You have been eliminated. So, Will Ferrell, in what I can believe is a complete Fez move, was so disgusted by the Oklahoma fraternity that had the racist song going around that he now says colleges should think about banning fraternities.
Just get rid. I agree with Will Ferrell. Just get rid of them.
What's your big beef with them? Did you have a beef before this?
Yeah, when I was in college, I never liked the frat guys.
Well, you went to an all-girls school, so you're more of a sorority gal. Sisters forever. I don't know if anyone likes fraternity guys, right? That's why they have to have fraternities.
Yeah,
they have to put the kind of the weird dicks together.
Well, yeah, if they can come up with the money to get in. It's not like, oh, we're a fraternity where we have a common interest, we're friends, let's get together and form this organization. This is, can I rush enough money to get into this thing? This is hundreds of years of assholery that I'd like to see Will Ferrell shut down.
Yeah, but isn't that the whole thing about college, that you have the choice to what you want to do with your life? And why wouldn't you find guys that are kind of dickish? What was wrong with them being dickish together? And I'm saying I'm not friends with anyone who's ever even been in a fraternity.
Right.
I don't even know those kind of people. But I think later on in life they go on to become, I don't know, in country clubs and one of those type of places that I also wouldn't go. So how is it any different to say you guys can't be together any more than it is to say, hey, you art guys shouldn't be together, or you rock guys shouldn't hang out together, or you gay people shouldn't be able to hang out together?
I think there's a difference between hanging out together and what Will Ferrell said about that being excluding clubs. Clubs where there's that it's not open to everyone. We learned that from the SAE song.
Why should something be open to everyone, though? I mean, like you already said, you wouldn't want to join, right?
No.
I wouldn't want to join, so they're not keeping us out.
The basketball team's not open to everybody.
The basketball team is exclusive. You know? The band is exclusive. People say, this is our group. What's the problem with that?
Because this is a social organization as opposed to something where you need a skill, like an athletic team or the band.
But social is also exclusive. You know that there's lunch tables you wouldn't go to because those are the people that are friends together forever. And I'm saying that fully agreeing that it's kind of a dick personality. But what's wrong with the dicks hanging out together? Because they're the ones that like each other's dickness.
I think it's basically something where if you're going to college, go to school, get your education, and you don't need all this stuff as well.
Yes, I would disagree. I think social is a very big part of that part of it. First of all, if there's anything that seems like it sets people up for life, it's the social things as much as the studying that they do. In America, most of our rock and roll bands have come out of guys meeting each other at art school or college, and you don't need to be in a fucking rock and roll band. But yeah, that's a good thing to do. I kind of feel the same way about fraternities. As a matter of fact, if you do have a fraternity, it keeps those kinds of dudes away from everyone else. You know?
Well, yeah, I mean, I know when I went to school, guys in the frat couldn't hang out with who they wanted to hang out with.
That's fucking great.
Because
I love it.
You couldn't be seen, if you were adult, you couldn't be seen with an SAE guy.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I think it just sets a bad precedent of it causes more ill will than it actually produces.
I think it's okay to attack the kind of people that it's okay to attack. You know what I mean? Like if we said, oh, there's this gathering of gays and lesbians, and what they really should be doing is hanging out with straight people rather than staying by themselves, then that's the type of thing that you can attack. But this, just white dudes. Look, the reason if you hear fraternities and you find out later in life that they hire each other and stuff, it's why we have affirmative action. It's like they had to go and set something up because of people going, oh, we're going to take care of our own.
It used to be something that looked so good on a resume, I believe, and then now, if I saw somebody's resume and they said, here's my frat, I would already have a completely bad perception of that person.
Unless you were a person in that frat, and then you would put them at the top of your list. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Here's Derek. Derek, go ahead.
Hey, I wanted to talk about the fraternities. I agree with Fez to get rid of them. They're out. It's an outdated concept. Now with social media, you can create a group and follow them throughout the rest of your career. The idea of a fraternity, so you would have connections when you go into the career world, where someone would recognize you, you have that connection. It's an outdated concept.
Look, if it's outdated, leave it up to those people. And if they say this is outdated, then they don't have to do it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not up for outsiders to decide whether your social thing makes sense or not. You know, this one fraternity obviously did something stupid. Those individual people are being punished or dealt with for it. But why throw the entire Greek system into it? I remember when I saw Animal House. Not only did I think that the bad frat were dicks, I thought the good frat were fucking dicks too. I thought that they acted like fucking assholes. I thought they didn't know how to fucking party. Now here's Jay. Jay in New Jersey.
Hey, how you doing? Listen, I want to just speak up for fraternities. My college fraternity made my college experience completely whole. The camaraderie, the hazing ritual. I graduated college a long time ago, and I'm still close with several of the guys that were my fraternity brothers. Yes, are there extremes? Certainly are, and certainly in those days we got away with a lot of physical stuff that today would be considered felonies. Now, I'm not saying that that's right, but what I'm saying is that I feel that fraternities do have a place on a college campus, especially a very large campus where you just need to have an identity. And I think the fraternities and sororities...
Now, let me ask you this, because I've never belonged to something like this. Why would you want to join a group that physically abused you?
Because at the time, that was what was done. If you wanted to be in a fraternity, that was what you had to do. That was the first courageous thing that I ever did in my life at age 19, was to look at a fraternity and say, I want to be in that fraternity, and go up there and be interviewed and be accepted to pledge and go through 8 weeks of pledging. And I enjoyed it because I was voted the most outstanding pledge, and the following year I became the pledge master. So for me it was a good thing, and I still think for some people it is a good thing. Are there tricks and assholes? Of course. That's life.
So what physical things did they do to you and that you later did to other people that you now say are felonies?
The paddling.
Yeah.
The paddling. I mean, I still keep it as a souvenir. I mean, it's crazy. Look, Ron, I got to tell you something. I graduated college in 1965. That's 50 years ago. I mean, it was a very different time. You know, no political correctness. You know, very ethnic. My fraternity was an Italian-American fraternity, so we had that bond going in that we were all Italians. Most of us, anyway.
Right.
So, you know, for me, I was thinking for myself. My son was in a fraternity. As soon as he was very unhappy at school, and when he joined his fraternity, that turned it around for him, and he became a very successful. He was very successful in his studies and graduating, and he's got a very good job today. So, you know, I mean, you could say that the people that don't go to fraternities are the ones that are afraid to be rejected or who have some sort of an issue. I certainly was petrified to be rejected by the fraternity, but I did it anyway, and I was very happy that I did.
Thank you so much, Jay.
Take it easy, you guys.
Take it easy. Now you hear him, Fez.
Yeah.
It worked for a guy who, let's face it, a lot of the people, especially in some schools, they had to work really hard in high school to get there. They're not necessarily social people. This gives them a chance to join a society that you take say a big place and make it small, bond it, and it works for them.
See, I don't see where it sets a good tone for socialization, where in order to have these lifelong friends, he had to get physically abused and pay a shitload of money. You got to pay money to get into these things, so you're buying your friends who are just going to hit you.
But first of all, and I think he's even said that we've moved on beyond that, but and I don't know much about the money part of it, but normally in America we say if you want to pay for something, go ahead and buy it. You know, there's some people, the thought of paying to go water skiing seems insane to them, and other people would invest a lot of money into it. So let each person choose what they want to do. But I also don't see any problem with like-minded people who choose to hang out with other like-minded people.
But should they get a house on campus?
Why not? Do you get apartments with your friends?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see the big difference there. If people want to do it, why not do it? Same when it comes to if you're the fucking type of dude that would let other people haze you, I don't know what to fucking say. I mean, that's also a choice.
I never feel bad for the hazing people. Like a couple weeks ago at Syracuse, these, I think 2 fraternity members, they got in trouble because they made these pledges do like push-ups and sit-ups in the snow. And one pledge got like really bad frostbite. And I think he had to have like a couple fingers amputated. But if they had been like holding them down in the snow, I get that they might get in trouble. But if you're just going out there and doing that, I would have just said like, no, I'm not gonna do that in the snow. So like that's like your choice. Someone just told you to do it, and then you chose to do the stupid
To me,
thing.
you're a pussy if you fucking sign. That's from my fucking background. That if you let someone fuck with you physically, then that's your choice. You fucking gave in to them. You know what I mean? It seems to me that if someone were to hit you with a fucking board, you should show up later and fuck them up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But they don't think that way. They go in a different concept. They choose to do this. You know, I wouldn't. But why would I want to limit other people's choices? I don't get it. Drew in Cleveland.
Hey, buddies.
Yeah.
So I need to preference this to give a little background about myself. I'm a recent college graduate a couple of years ago from a school in outside of Cleveland, and you know the fraternity for me actually helped build me as a better person and made me more social. In high school, I was very shy. And so when I came around and started hanging around the house for Sigtal, they realized like, hey, this is a really nice and good guy, like, you know, but he's very shy. And so, you know, once I joined, ultimately, it helped me be more comfortable and secure with myself. And to repay that, I actually decided to volunteer as an alumni nationally. To go around and speak different chapters and help those different school chapters who are in fact.
Now, what do you do? Teach them racist songs?
No,
I'm kidding, dude. I know not everyone's a racist. I was joking with you. Now, see, Fez, this is the thing. I can't identify with that whole thing of being shy and not fitting in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When I was in high school, I had my buddies. They had my back. Those kind of things came, you know, comfortably to me. They don't come comfortably to everybody. Some people need to join to something and make a pledge or whatever the hell they do. They wear those stupid beanies or something. I don't know
believe so, yeah.
I don't know what they do. I know most of it from Animal House and the Twisted Sister video. I don't know how it all works, but why would I want to limit people? And then also, like with Will Ferrell, why would I want to act like everyone is in trouble because somebody sang a song, which, by the way, was just a song. And we don't go shutting down everybody for what a hip-hop song says.
I think it's that that song was an example of what Will Ferrell was saying of how these are organizations set up just to exclude people.
I would go out of my way to say things that are inclusive are also exclusive. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'd like to hang out with you guys, but I don't do the same things as you. Can we do some of the things that I like? That wouldn't be joining a club. If I fucking join the club of all the people who go around and look at flowers, and I start going like, hey, do we always gotta look at flowers? Why don't we go to some movies? That wouldn't make fucking sense. yes, exclusive is what anything is about. You move to a neighborhood of like-minded people.
Yes. Yeah, I did.
You could live anywhere in the city, but you chose to live with people who think like you.
But if I had joined a fraternity, I wouldn't be able to hang out with everyone that I might want to. I would have to date exclusively to the people who were matched up with that fraternity.
But
I couldn't go to other parties
unless you decided I don't want to join this club.
Yeah,
no one's forcing anyone into a club, right?
Right.
So what is the problem? If you want to join a club, you accept the rules of that club, whether it's the Hells Angels or the U.S. Marines. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Every club has rules. There are clubs here in town where you can't bring members every single night. You know what I mean? You can't bring other people. You can't bring a guest with you. That's that club. And I don't know why you should say I want to join the club, but then I don't want to do the things that the club does.
And they're not doing that different of things at other non-fraternity parties.
First of all, there's no fraternity party that I ever wanted to go to. I'm like, oh, I don't get to go to that because I'm not a fraternity member. That's never come up for me. Any more than, like I'm saying, oh shit, I don't get to do all the stuff that the guys in the science club get to do. I don't give a shit. I don't know what everyone's looking for with the inclusive thing.
The crazier shit was always happening at the parties off-campus, non-fraternity. The fraternity party is it's like a block from the library. Who would want to party that close?
I don't even know what that means.
It didn't make sense.
They're too close to the library?
They were right on the campus. I can see it from while I'm taking a class. Why would you want to party that close to the school?
Lance in PA.
Yeah, it turns out your boy Opie was in a fraternity.
Yeah, I can say being a fraternity guy up there in Syracuse. I wonder if he would have let Fez in his fraternity. Tom in Ohio.
Yeah, hey, Bron. Hey, this is the typical Fez Watley deal here. Anytime there's a group of any type of people with any kind of something that he don't like or agree with, do away with them all. Come on, Fez. They're not bashing gay people for crying out loud, and they're joining it because they want to join it. Why do you always seem to have a problem with that? Are you scared of groups of people?
Yeah, what scares you about a club, Fez? Fraternity or anything else?
I just think these things are built on violence. They're built on excluding people, singing racist songs.
And those people got in trouble for it.
I've seen the fraternities that were around when I was in college, and what assholes they were. They were dicks to the people that they were claiming were their brothers.
So? What do I care?
They were I didn't see where it bred any sort of redeeming quality.
Why does it have to? There's a lot of things that are clubs that have no redeeming value, other than the passage of time.
Then they should go do it off on their own and not be part of a university system.
Why are they in the university system? But did the universities find value in them years ago?
I think it was probably, I would imagine like anything, came down to money.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of things that you would... First of all, why is the football team part of the university system? That's another strange thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Basketball teams, the choir, why is that part of a university system? There's a lot of things that don't really have to do with anything other than blowing off steam that are part of that system. Here's Kevin. Kevin, you're on the Run and Fez show.
Hey, guys. I didn't join a frat. I don't get it. But I just want to mention, a lot of sports teams will hate the rookies, too. And I kind of get it. It's kind of like, you want to be with us? Prove it. We're going to make it uncomfortable. We're going to make it sting a little bit. I mean, you don't murder people, but make them earn it. So,
I'm trying to get that going here at Sirius. That if you want to work here and you get a job here, we get to throw hot soup on you. But I can't get anybody else to get in. Oh, Cousin Brucey says he's down with throwing soup.
He does seem like a soup thrower.
Sure. We're all a little bit of soup throwers. Here's Roger. Hey, Roger in St. Louis.
Hey, guys. Just a quick question for you, though. I mean, it's a choice, so why ban these fraternities? I was a fraternity guy, and I tell you what, being in the fraternity prepared me to go into the military after college. And, I mean, basic training was a walk in the park compared to fraternity life.
I mean, when you really think about it, joining a Marine Corps is a type of fraternity because then those guys stay in touch with each other and they treat Marines, you know, guys that are 50 will see Marines that are 30 and feel a kinship with them. You know what I mean? Like guys that have been out of the Marines for many, many years. And that's not from a social, I mean, other than shooting Asians, you know, it's not all that different.
No, I understand that, but that's also a job. You're getting paid to go into the military.
Not when you're out of it for fucking 40 years, you know? Here's John. John, you're on the Run of Fez show.
Yeah, I love the subject. You guys always make it very great with this stuff. But, you know, all this banning of everything and, oh, we need to get rid of this. I mean, to me, it all rolls back to the wonderful invention of putting a damn camera on a phone and one little thing out of context, and, man, we got to get rid of it all. And it just, I mean, like my kids, I have a 21-year-old, an 18-year-old, and an 11-year-old. And I told them, look, dude, you shoot anything and put it online, it's there forever, so don't be an idiot. And it just seems like all this shit kind of rolls back to that. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but every time I hear a subject brought up, abandoning this and getting rid of it, it's all, well, they shot a video of this, and if they never would have shot a video of it, we'd never be talking about it.
I think it was like a spring break thing, too, where they shot a video the other day when a bunch of dudes were around this girl. And, you know, the cops start to look for all the guys that were in this. And the girl had to come out herself and said, look, nobody, you know, I was voluntarily there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't think most of us. Yeah.
What's the future going to bring with this shit? It's going to get worse. They'll ban everything.
Yeah, I don't know if most of us would have loved to have, you know, look back at things that our 17, 18, 19-year-old self said. We'd probably be pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, imagine us having cell phones when we were younger. I'm right around your age, so.
It would have been disastrous. Here's Brian. Hey, Brian, what's up, buddy?
Hey, I just have 2 quick points. I had a friend, and he joined up with a fraternity, and he totally dropped everything he ever cared about before and changed his personality just to fit in with those guys. So I think it's just kind of interesting that way. It's almost like you're just trying to get friends, like paying.
Yeah, but that's also part of growth. You know what I mean? Like, for all you know, he was faking his personality with you before that to fit in with your group of friends. This is what happens when we are kids. We adopt and adapt to the personalities that we run with. That's why kids that, like, army brats that have moved around, live in a lot of towns, they'll tell you in one town they were like a greaser, in the next town they were a hippie, and after that they became a jock, because that's what you do when you're a kid. You try things on. I mean, it's ridiculous also if someone acted the same as when they were 18 for the rest of their life.
I remember there was this kid in my dorm who was just in a blind panic because he wasn't going to be able to come up with the money that he needed when he was pledging. And he was scared to death that these guys weren't going to like him. And I thought right then and there, who needs that pressure?
Money plays a big role for you in this, huh?
Yeah.
How much money was it?
I think it was over $1,000 that this kid had to come up with.
Seems like you should be able to do it. A couple of fucking liquor stores and maybe a 7-Eleven, and boom, he's in the fret.
I just keep thinking of, like, the coolest people from each decade, and thinking like, oh yeah, that person probably wouldn't be wanting to join a frat. They're out there doing their own thing.
Right, but there are things in life other than cool. You know what I mean? Not everybody is cool. The fucking shy is a way to be. You know what I mean? Backwards is a way to be. Conservative is a way to be. Liberal is a way to be. Some people are attracted to cultures that have nothing to do with the culture they grew up with. That's a choice to make. We're not sending people out there just so that they're cool, and we're not sending people out there. You know, if you believe in freedom of choice, you have to understand that some people make choices different than the ones that you made. These people are fucking douches. So what? You know, Fez, there was a stand-up special on Showtime recently that was so damn good. Here is the host of that special, Mr. Jay Mohr. Jay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Bennington, Fez Watley, your tag team intercontinental champions.
Oh, you're in a WrestleMania mood, aren't you?
I'm feeling old school. I want less stories. I want more wrestling. I miss Lord Alfred Hayes saying, no body part was its actual name. There was always some technical term to let us know that we were getting, that was the smoke screen because we were all getting jobbed. So like some guy would do like a fake forearm to the back and they'd say, crushing blow to the lower lumbar region.
He's a Lord Alfred Hayes fan, Fizzy. How about for you?
I love Lord Alfred Hayes.
Yeah, Fezzy, we won't get pregnant.
I liked him when he did the billboard spots. World Wrestling Federation, brought to you by Skittles, bite-sized candies.
Bite-sized candy. Oh, that's a punch to the thorax. Hey, Fez, I got people tweeting, hey, let Nikki Cox write for Fez. I'm like, Fez writes for himself. Nikki Cox writes for Jay Mohr.
I think that now that Nikki's out doing this, writing a couple of minutes for Fez might be a good idea.
I would love it.
Really?
Yeah.
What specifically? I guess we'll talk about that off air.
I think it should be talked about a little bit because Fez, I'm going to give you a background on Fez Watley here, and I've thought about him a lot. I think he's a natural actor more than anything else. Fez,
see that.
if he has a director,
the ring,
yeah,
and the USA chants hurt his ears.
yeah,
That was actually,
he will sell it. He will sell it to its death. But you don't often believe in your ideas, Fez.
Right, yeah. And ideas feel like they get blocked up quick.
You were so comfortable in the first hour today. Was that your bit?
No. That was from the Interrobang.
It was written, and then you felt that you could sell it.
Yeah.
So, Fez, how about this? You lack confidence in what you write because when it gets shot, God, what a great TV show, Celebrity Psychiatrist, Bonnie, for real.
Yeah.
This would be, I got to pitch that. Don't steal it, assholes. Not you assholes, listener assholes. How about this, Fezzy? Your own material, you're hesitant to bring to the table because if it gets shot down, you take it very personally because you thought of it and it's close to your heart and it came from your heart out your arm into a pen onto a piece of paper or a keypad. If somebody else writes the material and it falls on its face, not only are you in the clear, you now have a new bit where you can say, well, that bombs what that other guy wrote, right, Ron?
Yeah, he can feel good about that, comfortable with it. Like an actor, like, hey, even though the material sucked, I just kept going and going, doing my job.
Fez, is that accurate? I'm not slamming you at all.
I would say that's pretty accurate. Yeah, about the taking things personally.
Fez, you were an actor in college, right?
Yes.
What was the big?
I was in a University of West Florida production of Mr. Roberts, where I had the fabulous role of Ensign Pulver.
Now, Jay, here's the interesting thing about
This
that.
sounds like a Sweet Valley High novel.
Yeah.
I played Ensign Pulver.
Yeah. See, here's what it was: a World War II kind of play that actually ran with Fez starring in it during World War II. So,
I forgot about Fez's age. And by the way, the work looks really good, Fez. Like Jerry Jones, it took a long time for his work to finally fall. Martin Short, it takes a while for the work to fall. Fez, you never knew, and I know the reason. Most plastic surgeons pull back, but that's not how you age. You don't age forward. Your face doesn't fall forward. Your face sags down.
Yeah.
And Fez, with that revolutionary doctor, in Florida, in Orlando. We won't say his name because the litigation, whatever. He actually had that method where you pull the face up the way against the way that it falls naturally, and that's why Fez looks so. Remember when they had the beard and mustache contest? Everybody listening?
Yeah.
Hello, cover up the scars. And now look at Fez, 29 years young, a full head of hair, a cock like a fucking mule. So what if he's uncomfortable with his own material? My wife's gonna take care of that, Fez.
How was she feeling about the way you performed her material, Jay? Was she okay with it?
She loves it, and she has self-loathing issues, as you know. And, she just keeps saying, God, you did such a great job on that line, honey. I'm like, you wrote it. I would not have been in that neighborhood had you not written it. And I congratulate her on writing a great special. She goes, oh, honey, that was all you. And I'm like, no, not really. I probably would have been talking about fingers in the butt and been humping the stool for an hour if it wasn't for you making me smart, talking about women named Patty with a crooked tooth and crunchy bangs. Those are beautiful. Look, I love words, like how Carlin loves words, how a musician loves words, good ones. And, Patty sucks. Patty's a 5 tops. Patty with the crooked tooth and the crunchy bangs, she lit up a room. If Patty's so smart, how come she couldn't outrun a ball-peen hammer in her own driveway? You know what? Fuck Patty. I'm glad she's dead. I'm enjoying the show. I would never have had that sentence roll out of my mouth because I'm not that intelligent.
So it was great for you, right? I mean, it felt good.
It was good. It was really an exercise. When you do a special that you wrote, it's kind of loosey-goosey, and you know it because it's your stuff. But my wife wrote it, and I didn't want to let her down.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure I got and there were certain lines that had to go in a very specific order. Otherwise, there's no callback, Ronnie. You take one sentence out and put it after, you take the third sentence out, not to get real X's and O's. You take the third sentence out, and for some reason you slide it fourth and put the fourth one third. 10 minutes later, you don't have a callback. Like, you've just blown your own set apart. But I will say this. My wife would happily write for you, Fez. She would just need to know what type of thing you would want to write about, how much, how often. I know it's free, obviously. It's Sirius XM satellite radio. They don't really pay guys a lot. But she would do it for you specifically because she actually really loves you, Fezzy. But
get her to write something about your molestation. That would be maybe a way for you to deal with
everybody's
it and
been
get it back out there.
molested. Come on. That's the thing that you realize as you get older. Who didn't wrestle a little too long with an uncle?
Right.
Wow, he's really had my nuts in his hand a long time. That's a great move. That's a great move because I'm frozen. That's a great move. He's teaching. Whoa. All right. He's done quickly. He's just leaving. He's just going to leave.
What would you like her to write about for you, Fez?
I guess, I was mocked out a couple weeks ago about being an older gay. Maybe something
Who
about
mocked you out?
The Legion of Skanks podcasters.
Yeah.
Dave Smith,
Okay,
Jay
Fez,
Okerson, and Louis J. Gomez.
This is such my wife's wheelhouse.
Yeah.
First of all, it involves bullying. My wife was bullied her whole life. If you Google search Nikki Cox, the first 4 pages are how she ruined her face with plastic surgery. And I swear to God, made both my sons get a very slow stomach cancer. My wife has never, ever had a knife put to her face. She's never had Botox. Nothing. Ever. Nothing. She lost her baby fat and kept her big-ass giant lips. Whatever happened to dick-sucking lips being celebrated, Ronnie? Now we're making fun of them.
Yeah.
But you know what's better than dick-sucking lips I've learned in marriage, Ronnie?
What's that?
Dick-sucking throat.
That's
that
nice.
really is.
That's
what
nice.
separates the girls from the women.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I want to say, Ronnie, quickly,
Yeah.
and I'm hogging your time and I apologize, but I have to say the iBang wrote such an incredible piece and gave such proper credit and respect to my wife, and she's not used to that kind of legitimate, because the iBang's like a real legitimate spot that people go to, and you can trust what's on the iBang. It's not just some willy-nilly like, hey, Teresa Judas took a shit in prison. Like, it's a real, actual thing, and people go to it, and they know they can rely on it. So I was in San Francisco having breakfast at like a diner by myself, and I pulled it up on my phone and I read it, and I thought, you know what? That is so badass because it was the iBang. So I wanted to really, really, really give a shout out to them. And I don't know who they are. I don't know who writes what. I don't know who does what.
There's such a buzz on them in the comedy community too lately because of that kind of stuff. But I read that article too, and I thought it was really, really cool. But I had told people this before, that when we did stuff, I sat with you and your wife when you guys were riffing backstage before we'd done the Unmasked, and I'm like, I think she's as fast as Jay. You know what I mean? Like, she's really, really quick.
Yeah, she was raised like comedy-ville. Her mom, they used to watch Louis Anderson and Steve Martin on VHS tapes, and then by the time she was doing like sitcom, not many like 8, 9, 10-year-olds know like sarcasm and stuff like that, and she was way ahead of the pack. And then, at 11 years old, she's doing a sitcom with Jonathan Winters and going nobody goes toe-to-toe with Jonathan Winters,
right.
You know what I mean? And then by the time, when you're that pretty, you're not supposed to sling a joke. And my wife pointed out to me, pretty girl syndrome. And I said, what is that? She said, if a pretty girl says something funny, nobody laughs.
Yeah.
I said, well, that's not true. Like Eliza Schlesinger, everybody thinks she's pretty, and Schumer, and she goes, no, those are comedians. People paid their ticket. She goes, you'll see. I go, okay. About a month goes by, we're at a dinner party, and my wife says something like, hilarious. It was something like, they were talking about hoarders, and my wife said, and they always hoard the most festive things, like Christmas ornaments and birthday cards, and they have the least to celebrate. And it was just, nobody said anything. And I waited literally 30 seconds, and I said the exact same thing, and everybody goes, I know, right? And I was like, she's right. It's a pretty girl. If you're just a pretty girl, and you got big knockers, and you're beautiful, and you sling a joke, people just kind of, I try to explain to her, it's not because they don't think you're funny. It's you're just rare, and you're
everybody thinks okay.
Fez, she will write for you.
Yeah.
Will you email me, Fez? You have it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how long? Like once a week to start?
Well,
let's get this first thing rolling.
Get the first thing rolling. Don't even tell us, Fez. Just come in with something, and we'll see how
give her
it goes
credit.
over.
That's all we need.
Yeah.
Just say written at the end. Say thank you to Nikki Cox.
Yeah, after I'm done.
Yeah, after you're done. Jay Mohr, speaking of pretty girl syndrome, Gary Gulman just walked in here.
Oh, my beautiful Monty. That means you love him. Hi, baby boy.
Hi, buddy.
It's good. It's radio. Gary's not on a mic anyway.
I thought I was on the mic.
You're on a mic.
No, you are.
Yeah, okay.
I love Gary, and he knows that. You know I love you.
Oh, I feel very loved around him.
Is
yes.
that right?
Yeah.
Gary and
I feel
love
actualized.
each other very much.
Yeah.
We're grown men that can tell each other we love each other to their eyes without it being weird.
Yeah, and we can go months without talking to each other, and then we pick up right where we left off, the sign of a true friend.
Yeah.
Damn straight.
Or a
Gary
bad
Goldman's got a
ex-girlfriend.
pride.
You know what I mean? Like the same
about it.
thing. That girl that you shouldn't be with. Maybe you guys are not good for each other.
Not true.
Not
true.
Not true.
We're not codependent. We're redependent.
Oh,
We just
that's really
regenerate
nice.
dependency. And I'll tell you this, Ron Bennington.
Yeah.
Gary Goldman has a problem. Guess what? I have a problem.
That quickly.
Wow.
He knows that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then my enemies will fear me.
What is that, honey?
My enemies will fear me. Oh, he's talking to his other honey.
No, I'm talking to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ron Bennington. Ron, I gotta say it. There's only the number one most requested person for more stories is you, and I'm not going to bug you about it. If it happens, it happens.
I would love to do more stories.
Oh, quote it, print it, tweet it. Whenever I'm in New York, whatever, we'll figure it out.
I want to do it. I'll do another Unmasked with you, and then I'll do more stories for you, and that'll be
I need you to know this, though.
Yeah.
It's way more important for me to be your friend than to ever record our voices. So
That's
let's
really
never
nice.
pain in the ass. We drop it right on the sidewalk.
Good.
Okay?
So I wish somebody would tell Tom Rhodes that, because you know what I mean. That's a really nice thing to hear from people.
Oh my God! Hey, Gulman.
Yes.
Go get you. Hey, where are you performing this weekend, sweetheart?
This weekend I'm in New York at the Stand, and then.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. I love working out there. It's awesome.
The Stand?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, really? It's run by the guys who started Cringe Humor.
Yeah, the Stand wasn't happening.
Cringe
when
Humor. I
Jay
mean,
was
they're
around
20
New York.
worst comedians in the history of comedy live. And they actually wrote Jay Mohr. And if you ever meet him personally, you can know for a fact he's a fucking cunt. Close quote.
Wow.
Cringe Humor.
Wow. I stepped on a landmine there.
Yeah.
and I still no, you're fine.
Okay.
I have no hate for anybody or dislikes. Yeah, and I steal all my material and all that. And,
Oh God.
just look up cringe humor, worst comedians of all time. You'll see me right there. It's great.
I can't believe that's
However,
a list.
all the comics they like were on Last Comic Standing, a show I created. So how do they label me network sellout? You can't have it both ways, cringe humor.
Is there anybody who doesn't sell out?
Is there anybody that doesn't not like me? Jesus Christ. What do I do?
No, everybody adores you.
Not true. Not comedians. They got something about, Gary knows, something about me. Very divisive.
Is this true? Is this true, Gary?
He goes too quick to calling people by their last names, and I
Okay.
think that upsets people. It makes you feel like he's your gym teacher.
Look, Gulman, walk it off. I said it like a tell. Walk it off until it's illicit. I'm a sea captain. My name is Merlin. All right. I bang the best. Ronnie B has said, sure.
Yeah.
My wife is going to write, Fezzi, email me specifically what those cunts said about you, and I'll probably have my wife straighten that shit out.
All right, Jay. Talk to you soon, buddy.
The best in the business. Love you guys.
All right,
so
thanks.
much.
Bye.
You know I mean it, right, Ronnie?
I know that you mean it, Jay.
I love you, Gary. I love you, Fezzi.
We're
I love
all
you, too.
just covered in love here today from Jay Mohr.
Jay Mohr, Happy and a Lot, available on Showtime On Demand.
So, Gary, we were trying to figure this out with Jay. He did his special, right? And at the end, he has written by Nikki Cox. He gives all the credit for the material to his wife.
Wow.
She wrote it. He performed it. I don't think that's ever happened in history before.
I've never heard of such a thing.
And the Interrobang wrote up a nice story on it, gave her the credit, and Jay's incredibly moved by that somebody took notice of this.
Yeah. Well, he's very much in love with her. They're very
Yes.
close. Like, really, yeah.
I don't want to say I'm a little bit in love with her too, but I don't like to say anything because Jay, I want to get Jay upset. But I hung out with them one day, and I'm thinking, I think I'm a little bit in love with her.
Yeah, she's a very warm person.
I mean, does this seem weird? The three of us could be happy together. You know what I mean? She is a very warm, funny.
Does that ever work? Does it ever work where the
keep trying?
I think one of the Gibb I think one of the Gibb brothers might have had something like that a long time ago.
Never stopped trying, and I give myself
he's
a lot
dead.
of credit. Which Gibb? Do you know?
I believe
Robin?
it was I believe it was Robin.
Yeah, I believe
Robin, who sang a song with Oscar the Grouch in the 1970s on
I think
Sesame
he was
Street
my
Fever.
favorite of all the Gibbs because he looked like he needed somebody to be a fan. You know what I mean? Where, the good-looking Gibb never needed it. What does he need it for?
Barry.
Yeah, Barry had it all. And then they had a very attractive younger brother,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
who had a mental breakdown after breaking up with, I believe, Victoria Principal from
my
Dallas.
God. Oh, did I love Victoria Principal
Yeah,
growing
she was
up?
she was a looker.
She may have been one of my first
She was in here not too long ago
outlets.
when they put the Dallas back together a couple years ago.
Okay.
And still looked great.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, she had a body principle.
Did you like any girls when you were younger like that? None of the Catwomans ever, because I know you were a Batman fan.
Yeah, that's a good point. Love Julie Newmar.
Loved Julie Newmar.
Okay.
But loved any Catwoman. Loved them all.
Yeah.
And I've stayed with that throughout the entire franchise.
Yeah, there has
Still
not been a
my only
Catwoman who
girl.
I wasn't attracted to, and I'll tell you someone who doesn't get enough credit, Batgirl. Batgirl is a real piece of...
Yeah, and I think Batgirl joined your flag, didn't she? Later on in life, or am I making that up?
No, I think you're right.
Oh,
Yvonne Craig.
it's fantastic.
It's Bat Gossip, 866 Run Zero Fez. 866 Run Zero Fez. Fez is a Batman fanatic down to the point where it's almost, you've taken it to therapy, right? About why you liked it so much?
Yeah.
That you wanted to be rescued as a child?
Wanted to be rescued, wanted to have a hero in my life.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, most of us, I think, we, in our fantasies, thought of ourselves as the hero.
Sure.
And Fez wanted a hero.
Oh, that's interesting.
And save him.
Yes.
And carry him away.
Yes, I wanted to have a secret that made me more important than everybody else, right? But you wanted somebody else to have the secret that made them more important, and
yeah.
So I'm thinking there wasn't a father around, or if he was absent.
I mean, I had a father.
Yeah.
But I mean, he worked 3 jobs, so he wasn't around.
The word absent.
when the nuttiness was happening.
The word
Yeah,
absent.
somebody to protect you.
And he felt to be protected from his mom. Fez took his mom's anger. He took it a lot more personal than a lot of kids did.
Well, he's sensitive.
He is very sensitive.
The Fez is very sensitive.
Yeah.
And you know what? Then they blame you for being sensitive, Fez.
You know
Don't be
what?
so sensitive.
Here's
Why don't
the
you be
thing.
nicer?
He can't. He cannot do that. But see, here's the thing. In the future, Nikki Cox will have written you some lines, and you could come back and stuff with us. Right now, the attention is on you, and you feel a little off.
Yeah, I'm just
Imagine you had
getting
6
spotlighted.
you had 6 Nikki Cox lines ready to go at all time.
Can I recommend a documentary while we're
Documentary.
talking about the childhoods?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that comedian Barry Crimmins?
I love Barry Crimmins and have watched the documentary.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I adored it.
He, he's a long time. He listens to this show.
Oh, okay.
And then was surprised. This is from years ago that I know him because he's a legendary figure in comedy.
Yes,
The
yes,
things
especially
that
from where I'm from, which is Boston.
Yeah, and I think, and I have said this before. I'm going to say it again. I think it's the reason that you, Patrice, Bobby Kelly, who else is out of Boston? Burr. All of you guys have come out of there. Dane Cook is another one. And none of you remind me of each other. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, there's a lot of guys you're like, oh, I see he's an LA comic or he's a New York comic. You guys are so different.
Oh, that's interesting.
But there's one line of this integrity that holds everything together. And I believe that's from Barry Crimmins years ago.
Yeah, stressing originality,
Yeah.
and it trickled down.
And everybody, yes. And he planted that seed, said, you have to be original. You're not coming in here. Then
Wow.
those guys would have done it to the next generation. And by the time you guys come along, it's just a given. Where that doesn't necessarily exist if you come out of Pittsburgh, Miami, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, that's really interesting. People are always asking me why are Boston comedians so strong, and that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Because a comedian ran that thing, ran the first big club as comedy first over everything else. Because I think a lot of guys come to a place where they need to fill time, so they're going to be a little more desperate to lift material.
Right.
Or think it's just okay. It's just a night partying. Boston comics aren't like that at all.
No.
You would rather die terribly being yourselves.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought the documentary is going to be about.
Right.
It's that and so much more.
So much more. He's a real hero.
He is somebody who's stepped up, and I guess that is absolutely heroic.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Bobcat is one of my favorite filmmakers.
He directed my special last week.
That seems crazy to me that you could even say that, because he's such a great film director.
Yeah, I'm so honored by that.
That's amazing. Where's this coming out at?
I don't know. We just shot it. They have to edit it and then
You shoot it yourself? You're comfortable with that? You have a production company?
Yeah, the production
and
company.
And then you take it out?
Yeah. That's what I've done in the past too, and it worked. So,
how do you feel about this one?
Oh, it's the best one I've done.
Good.
Yeah, definitely.
You deserve it.
Oh, thank you. That's
and
nice
I just
of you
go
to
by the things that Jay Mohr says about it. And now I'm going to just start and call you Gulman too. I'm not going to go.
You don't have to.
I'm just going to go the last name. We're going to be the last name group, okay, Watley?
Got it, Bennington.
All right. See how comfortable that is? You're in a fraternity. Fez wants all fraternities banned after today.
Oh, I get it. I went to a college that didn't have fraternities. It was just one big clique. But I did find that the guys that I knew who were in fraternities, it was ugly.
We've never met anyone that were like, oh, that guy's from a fraternity and he's really cool. It's never happened.
Doesn't come up.
My brother was in a fraternity, and he's a dick.
Yeah. That happens. That's part of it.
And would come home and haze me, bullies.
See, maybe, though, that the guys that have corner offices are from fraternity background because they're all dicks. And maybe that helps you get ahead in life. They teach you to be a corner office dick.
Wow. Yeah, because it's such a network. And even the activity of networking repulses me.
You don't network at all.
Well, I must. Yes, I do. But I guess When people put a name on it,
Yeah.
it.
I'm only in
find it
one
revolting.
thing that I kind of network with, and that's white men.
Yeah.
And that is that got me out of trouble when I was younger, and that would be a lie to say
I have
that it
so many
didn't.
white friends.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
And they introduced me to other white people.
So I get that. I totally get that.
They introduced me to other white men. But I remember as a kid being in trouble a couple of times and the police dropping me off at the house instead of getting in serious trouble, instead of going through the system.
Did they bring you to your parents or just let you run in?
Sometimes they let me out front
Okay.
and said, if your folks know, blah, blah, blah. But this is, a suburban thing. And
was it shoplifting or?
No, it was more drugs and alcohol related.
Okay.
One time, in a very embarrassing situation where a young lady's father woke up and I was in her room.
Oh, God.
And he was in a killing mood. And I had to leave that room, go to another room with only underwear. And the police showed up. The guy had a knife and a hammer both.
Oh, my
right?
God, Ron.
Yeah, and he was like crazy. I mean, and he was an Italian father. We were fucking around. He woke up and went crazy. And then the cops took me. And they were like laughing and telling stories like, hey, a buddy of mine had to jump out of a whorehouse one time and I just got dropped off. And I'm like, this probably would not happen for everybody.
No.
It's just basically done on thing.
But that father, what a nut.
Well, you know what? I mean, it was like a Catholic thing back then. He was like...
Yeah, they're very forgiving.
Yeah, he was like Paulie, right? He was like Paulie from Rocky where he felt like she was busted, He was he was crazy. And I don't think he was going to stab me or hit me with the hammer, but he was ready. Yeah, he had both. But then it actually got back to my family, and my aunts teased me about it. Like, I thought it was going to be much bigger of a deal, but they all got a kick out of it.
Yeah, you thought it was going to be a black mark on your record.
Yeah,
and it turned out to be
it didn't turn out
one of your
that way.
more fun stories.
Yeah, it was just one of those things.
How old were you?
I was either a junior. I was probably a junior.
Oh, that's ridiculous that this guy is reacting that way.
Well, that was his little girl,
This was a long time ago, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like now
70s?
I don't think parents would be that way.
No.
Unless, they've probably, found two boys together and then they would lose their shit. Shelby, did you go through that when you were a kid at all? Or?
Yeah, are you just talking about my childhood now?
Yeah, okay. But Fez, you belonged to a church that was pretty exclusive, right? The Lutherans.
Yeah,
You kept people out.
Yeah, it got very exclusive. That was
That's a fraternity. A church is a fraternity.
Oh, yeah.
in my opinion.
Or a cult.
And it got even, like cliques inside of the clique.
Yeah.
Where I remember one of my jobs, because I was going to church like 4 times a week and on every committee and everything. And one of my jobs that I took was finding people to fill up for the other committees.
Uh-huh.
And there was this one woman who came to me and she wanted so much to help out with the church. And I said, great. Told the pastor. The pastor told me, don't put her on any committees. Because she had a mental problem in her past.
Uh-huh.
And she would make the other women in the committees uncomfortable.
Oh, my gosh.
I stopped paying attention a while ago.
It was
I
just
felt like it was
ugly.
church talk for real. I don't know what happened there. That might only be gossip if you were interested, like if you were from your neighborhood. But yeah, I wouldn't let a crazy person run something at a church.
Yeah, but I hate the idea of all these other church ladies piling on.
That's what they do. That's why you sign up for that.
Yeah.
It's all part of it.
Just has a very Helen Lovejoy Simpsons.
Yeah,
feel to
I mean
it.
that's
Ganging up on
why you
Marge.
join that. So you're saying we are better than the other people. We have the actual connection to God. It must feel wonderful.
Yeah.
To have a connection to God and eternity.
Ugh.
I would love to have that.
Yeah, I never fit in at Temple. We called it Temple, the synagogue. I never fit in there because we were poor and divorced parents and everything like that.
Right.
So my mother wasn't involved, and all the other kids knew each other and everything like that. And they were rich. I always found them soft.
But here's the deal, though. I know about a lot of Jewish guys. they go back later in life. Like Jewish guys get more Jewish the older they get.
Oh, I've become so disenchanted with the
You
entire
haven't got
thing.
there yet.
I'm not old enough?
No.
Okay.
Richard Lewis. Richard
Really?
Lewis is the perfect thing of, now he's like, no, I like to go to temple.
Really?
And he was very hip when he was younger, and now he's like, I like to go to temple.
Do you think he believes in God?
I don't know. I think Jews like
to be around other Jews.
Yes, it's a fraternity.
Yeah.
It's that thing that you feel.
Wow.
Like even Jewish people who don't believe are pretty much social Jews. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like they will,
Totally.
They don't want to hear anything anti-Semitic. They
No.
don't believe
Unless
but-
it's said by them.
Yeah, yes. They're comfortable with
fucking Jews.
Yeah.
Only another Jew can say that. Yeah.
You ever see that? You ever with a Jewish guy and he'll be like, there's something like, it's fucking Jews. See what they do? You're always just like, kind of, you know, 'cause you don't know if you agree.
I would report to my mom after Hebrew, and it would always start with, ugh, these Jews. These Jews. We all think we're our own unique version of a Jew,
Right.
and we're all the same to everybody else.
Yeah. And it is true, though, that there is comfort even in the things that you don't like from childhood to, go back to them.
Yeah, yeah. There's nostalgia and there's
Yeah.
sentiment. Yeah, sure. But gosh, the thing I noticed, and I think it was Wayne Frederman who told me that every Jew is like this. Anybody more religious than them is crazy. Anybody less religious than them, they're not even fucking Jewish.
Right.
I thought that really captured it. It's
I
so
love that, man.
judgmental. Yeah.
You got to be right in that perfect pocket.
Yeah. Like I look at the guys with just the yarmulke.
Yeah.
Crazy. The same way they look at the Hasidics.
Right.
That's how they look at the Hasidics. And to me, I'm a Catholic.
Well, yeah, but, with those guys, too, you ever notice they're mad at each other all the time. Those guys are always fighting in the street, that somebody's doing something wrong. So I'll sometimes see them in the park, and they'll be arguing over things in the Bible, and I'm like, okay, so even though that guy's gone that far, he still isn't far enough to the dude that's right in front of
because
them.
this book.
Yeah.
That book. It's unreadable.
Yeah, it is basically
It's incoherent. I would have rather we studied Lord of the Rings or something that had a
Lord of the Rings.
had it was clearly written by the same person and it had the same perspective and there were characters that I could get behind. If it's going to be a metaphor, why isn't it right? That a lot of people say that religion is it's just a metaphor. You don't have to take it literally. Then pick a better metaphor.
Right.
Lord of the Rings, your Lion Witch wardrobes.
Yeah. We need an auteur. We don't need, like, if you go to a movie and you see 33 written, you're like, this thing was a mess. Look how many writers.
Yes.
This thing went through so many rewrites.
Yeah.
They don't even know where they are anymore.
Yeah. Yes, and imagine that they're just nerds, right? If they're into this one book.
Right.
Like people are into Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter. I can't think of another one of that significance.
You're a fantasy guy. You enjoy the fantasy.
I do enjoy my fantasy.
Yeah.
Although it makes for a lonely childhood.
I like the teen insurgents and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many of them. By the way, they're all the special child who didn't know that they were special. It's basically the Jesus story over and over and over.
Yeah, but don't you think it's just people trying to recreate the Harry Potter?
Oh, absolutely,
sensation?
100%.
Yeah.
Well, but they've grown up a little more. They're like just at the age where they're into sex. That's what it's all about.
Yes.
Although they don't quite do it, though, do they? None of those kids have sex, but they're old enough if they wanted to.
Yeah, the Hunger Games. That's the big one.
Hunger Games is the big one.
Yeah, which intrigues me, but I've never seen it.
There's enough of them out there.
Yeah.
I think we're going into the fourth one, the fourth Hunger Game already.
Wow. I just don't get into it.
Yeah. Well, it's not your demo.
Yeah.
Gary Gulman's going to be at the stand this weekend.
I know. I heard him tell Jay.
I'm telling everybody.
Okay, so I thought you were talking to me.
I'll be there, and then I'm doing a little Texas run in April.
Sweet.
To Dallas and San Antonio, and then
you got Indianapolis coming up April 9th through the 11th.
Yes.
Morty's Comedy Joint in Indianapolis.
That's actually a really good comedy club with a terrible name, Morty's.
Morty's.
Sounds so
It's a funny
shoddy.
name.
Yeah, it's a little bit funny.
Morty'sComedy.com for tickets and information. That's for Indianapolis, April 9th through the 11th. And then Charlene McCombs Empire Theater in San Antonio, April 16th.
Yes.
That is the home of Friday Night Tykes, the TV show about 8 and 9-year-olds who play football, and it's on Esquire Network.
Wow. I didn't play football until I was a senior in high school.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You waited.
Yeah, I waited, and it paid off because I don't have any injuries or I never had a concussion or
We had
knees
this year's show had quite a few neck injuries.
Really?
Yeah, a couple of brain things. One kid got a concussion, has to stop. Yeah, little kids can get hurt playing that game.
That's ridiculous. Wow. Yeah, I never played.
The doctor said that it would be healthier if instead of playing football, the kids got together and smoked cigarettes. He actually said, wouldn't it be better just to have these kids sit around smoking cigarettes for a while?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah. Kids, I don't want you playing. Smoke.
And what about the kids who were also playing and smoking?
Those kids are really cool.
I gotta tell you, I always looked up to them.
Sure.
Because they were able to be athletes and smoke, and they always drank at the same time. These kids were special.
You finish a lap, you just light one up.
Yeah. Yeah.
They say the only reason to smoke is because it feels good to take deep breaths. But I think it feels better to take a deep breath of smoke. But they say if you just do deep breathing, you'll feel that relaxed feeling. We breathe too shallow.
Yeah, I think that's true, but also the not having a cigarette for 2 hours and then having one.
Unbelievable good feeling.
Yeah, that's the problem with the people who don't smoke that much. It's so good every time.
People don't realize that if you could just light up satisfaction. What more would you want? I'm satisfied. I don't have to strive for it.
I quit 4 years ago after about 16 years of smoking, and I used this book called The Easy Way to Quit Smoking by Alan Carr, and I smoked all the way through it, and then luckily I got a cold, and it got me 3 days where I didn't want to smoke.
Perfect.
And I haven't smoked since.
I read...
But man, there's so many situations where I'm like, oh, it would be great if I was still a smoker right now.
After anything.
After anything. Before anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
I read the same book, but by Vicky Carr. And it was, let's break here. You can hang out, Gary?
Yeah, I'd love to.
We'll try to get Jay Mohr back on the line. He says lovely things about you. Ron and Fez.
My hype man.
Ron and Fez on Raw Dog Comedy. It's Channel 99.
Back with the Ron and Fez show. Gary Gulman's here with us. He's going to be at the Stand in New York City this weekend, at Morty's Comedy Joint in Indianapolis. That's April 9th through the 11th. Morty'sComedy.com for tickets. And at the Charlene McCombs Empire Theater in San Antonio, Texas, April 16th. Ticketmaster.com for tickets there. And watch for his upcoming special, directed by Bobcat Goldthwait, that was just shot last week.
You know, we always say that we love Gary, but we don't love you as much as Jay Mohr does. I saw how much he loved you today.
Yeah.
It's more than us. But we will never play a best of that the day that you were in with BL from Florida will not be on that best of. Because just the clash of cultures had me in tears that day.
So, but why would it not be on the best of?
We'll always be on the best of, is what I'm saying.
I think you went with a double negative there in some way. Yeah, that was...
I did a Pennsylvania Dutch thing.
Well, maybe never not or something
We will
like
never
that.
not play that.
Yeah. Oh, that's... Yeah,
That means we always will.
That is a classic.
We always will.
We had a blast that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had to act like I'm in a horse and carriage going through Hershey, Pennsylvania.
I was confused and hurt.
Yeah, why won't you play it?
Yeah.
It's not right. And now we'll probably have to play the uncomfortable thing of Jay calling you honey and just being crazy about you.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But I know him from Last Comic Standing, and before that, just around the clubs in L.A. And we had the same manager.
You were on the first season or the second season? And
Yeah,
that's
I was
when
on
he
the
was
second
hosting.
season. Yeah. Yeah, he was hosting back then.
Why did they ever get rid of Jay? What
Foolish.
happened there? That's
Fools.
crazy.
Yeah.
Because they still never have worked it out. Who they got hosting this year?
This year is I forgot the host.
Oh, Anthony Jeselnik.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bringing in Norm Macdonald as a judge.
Well, that'll be interesting.
I love Norm.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Because last year was like a happy year. Like all the
Okay.
judges were nice to everybody. I can't see Norm doing that. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, he's so smart.
Everybody who's funny thinks he's funny. You never run into funny
that's
people
so
going,
tr-
I don't
That's so
get
true
it.
that
Yeah.
don't get Norm Macdonald. That's so true. Yeah. Yeah. The same with Colin Quinn.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did an hour with Colin Quinn that I could not believe how fast and funny.
Oh my God.
And how, like, he would be coming up with things off the top of his head, but it was almost like if you met someone and they were shooting a movie and were scoring it at the same time. Like, there was so many textures to whatever his opinions or stories were. And there's also a thing that there's a kindness to Colin Quinn.
Oh my God.
That doesn't exist everywhere in comedy.
Yeah, he's a mentor to so many comedians and just nice and at every level.
Yeah.
He's kind.
Yeah. Well,
rare.
in Artie Lang's book, so it's Artie that's outing him, not me. Artie would be in these really bad, places, and Colin would just show up and just, take 2 trains and a bus to get there. Hey, Artie, let's go, buddy.
Yeah.
Let's get you
But
home.
Artie's not the only guy who has that story. There are so many. Yeah, that he's just he's someone to us. I aspire to be that selfless and generous.
Oh, you'll never make it. You'll never make it.
No.
You don't have it in you. You don't have enough of the good stuff in you.
But it's something to aspire to, is what I'm
Right.
saying. The word aspire.
Yeah.
Which is to
you
say,
know-
I'll be nicer.
Yeah, so then I aspire to do all kinds of things. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
That's a nice way of putting it. I was bringing up about the film thing. You know that there's this beef, and I think it was Vanity Fair that read this article. But the problem with people who do a film by instead of directed by.
Okay.
And when they put a film by, it annoys a lot of the people.
Well, isn't
who
it
work
not a
on the
film by, but it says a Richard Donner film?
You could also do that as well. But, they're saying 500 people worked on this film.
Yeah.
And you take it.
Yeah, but this guy was the president of all those people on the film. I've seen directors work. It's ridiculous.
See, I think
football coaches.
I think if you wrote it and directed it, then
Okay.
you should say
All
a
right.
film by.
Yeah.
If someone else wrote it,
Right.
and someone else even produced it, like let's say this. If you're the director of a Harvey Weinstein film, right?
Yeah.
You're probably not doing all the things that you would want, unless you're Tarantino.
Why, that guy's that creative, Harvey Weinstein?
I think that he says, here's what we're doing,
Really?
here's how we're going to cut it later. I mean, some people get mad about it because he's like, why isn't the producer as important as anybody else's vision?
You know a
I
lot
have
about
vision.
film, don't you?
Yeah, I know a
Yeah.
bit about film. I've had Harvey on the show.
Oh, really?
A couple times. I know a lot of people have a beef with him, but I don't know anybody who likes film more than him.
Oh, that's nice.
He just loves it.
I like a film by. I think it looks classy. I think it looks very old school.
Yeah, but do you understand if we're all sitting here and then I said, okay, this is a show by Ron Bennington, even though we're all part of it. We have Jay, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That would be like, wait, I didn't contribute. I'm not part of this. I think that's what happens. You have, first of all, a lot of these directors, they're not really photographers. The cinematographer,
Right, that's true.
makes,
Yeah,
like you look
all the
at,
lighting decisions. Yeah.
Like my favorite Woody Allen films are pretty much other people's favorite Woody Allen films when he worked with certain cinematographers that made
Mr. Santo Loquasto.
Yeah,
Is that the guy's name?
Yeah,
no,
there's
he's the interior designer or whatever.
But that's also a very good point.
Yeah.
There are guys who do design work
Yeah.
on films.
Sven Nykvist. That's the cinematographer from
And those films are so beautiful, and the director gets the credit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you say a film by, but that guy did not understand film or didn't cut the movie. You have editors as well, which are totally responsible, particularly in comedy.
Yeah, but the mooks don't give a shit anyhow. The people who are going to these, it's only the people who are like us, sort of in the business.
Yeah.
We're not in the film business, but we're in show business.
Right.
We care.
The general population doesn't care so much. But
They
I
don't
do,
even notice it.
But I do. All right. Do you guys know what Spike Lee puts? He doesn't put a
Spike Lee joint.
Spike Lee joint. Now that I totally respect.
Yeah, me too.
You know, because it is. He writes it, shoots it, directs it, produces it, edits it.
And it has a feel,
Spike
a
Lee.
vibe, yeah.
Yeah. And people sign up to be with Spike Lee because they know it's going to be different. I think it's, I don't know if Wes Anderson puts directed or a film by, but you have to feel like if you look at it.
A Wes Anderson film.
That looks like
Yeah.
Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
A Tarantino film looks like a Tarantino film. Scorsese, yes. But think of how many filmmakers that you don't get that almost anybody could have done it.
So true.
You know?
Yeah. It's a great feeling to be going into a film knowing what you can expect, that you like this vibe and this
Right.
sensibility. Yeah.
I know. I will show up for a filmmaker more than I will a actor any day. You know, I'm going to go. The guys that I'm going to stick with is like P.T. Anderson. I'm going to be
Yes.
there for him.
Yes.
I'm driving.
Did you see Inherent Vice?
Yes, I did.
I didn't see it yet.
I enjoyed it. Not everybody did.
Right.
To me, it looked, felt, tasted like the 70s.
Yeah?
It was really.
Oh, that's cool.
It was really a time and a place, but I get that it wasn't a beginning, middle, and end story. Some people get thrown off that they want to film to have that feeling. This one didn't
Right,
feel
but
way.
but that's Thomas Pynchon.
Yes, exactly. If you read Pynchon, you were like, "Oh, this is great." Feels like him.
Right, but most of America that want a beginning and a middle and an end, and they'll go crazy without it. 'Cause
Yeah,
they with the OCD.
Right. They wanted to play like they're watching a television episode. Like
Yeah.
I get it. I
Yeah.
know who did it now.
Yeah, yeah. But how do you make money making those films? Because people are reluctant to see that.
Yeah, that's the tough thing.
Yeah.
That's the tough thing is like everyone acts like, oh, I really want to see something different. They don't.
No.
They want the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it in the comedy clubs. You know, guys will go on before me, and I'm like, oh wow, the audience still loves Airplane or whatever that stuff is that they're doing, men and women, and yeah, they still love it.
I will remember like Jim Norton said to me one time, he's like, oh, hacks doesn't mean that you're bad. A hack is not necessarily bad at what he does.
No,
he just puts
the hack is killing.
Right, he's
Yeah, of
slaying.
course. Yeah.
It's just that that the people see. I think this is what you don't want in another entertainer. You don't want to look over and go, "Oh, that's how he does it," or "That's what he's doing." What the people that you really like, you go, "What what is wrong with this guy? How do you think of that?"
Totally.
That's always my favorite. That was my initial favorite thing about when I met Fez, because I used to think no one else in the room would have went to that place.
Yeah, all the building blocks that went into making a Fez.
Yes. And that's why I thank your mother for the abuse that she gave you.
Yeah.
And the
sensitivity,
and your father for
the heartache,
neglect.
And the obsession with Batman.
Yeah.
You're not going to get these combinations.
Hoping, looking out his window, that Batman would fly in and save him.
I tried to make a bat signal.
That's one of the saddest things I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. I took my dad's flashlight. It was one of those like really, big thick ones.
Yeah,
Let me
with
guess.
6D batteries in the back. They were very heavy. Yeah,
And you kind of pulled your balls back and just put it over top of his head.
Into the form of a bat.
Help! Help, Batman! My mom's back.
Your mustache almost has the Batman symbol
Holy shit!
to it.
Really?
Yes.
I've never seen this, and now I want to run to a mirror.
Now I can't not see it. It's a great Batman symbol.
Dude, it really does look like that.
Wings. And it
looks-
didn't have to.
Here's
It
the
was a
thing.
choice.
Now today,
You're putting up the bat signal
wasn't
24
intentional.
hours a day.
now here's the thing. So today, Fez wanted to meet me out front. Some days he has bad days, so he likes to meet me first.
Yeah.
Get rid of the tears like we did today, and then we come on up.
What a good friend.
No, he's an awful friend.
He met you.
Oh. But so I see him down the block and stand up so we could all see it here away from the mic. Believe it or not, that right side, sun will hit it and it just shoots out because it's so much whiter.
Yeah.
But I got him like beep.
The
off of
symmetry.
today. It was
It's like a black and white cookie.
unbelievable. Yeah.
But not really.
Yeah, it's like a bicycle reflector if you take like a flash photo.
Yeah.
And you can't get the other side as white?
No, because the other side hasn't had the trauma.
That is exactly right, Gary
Yeah,
Gulman.
that the left side has had. It saw something that it can't unsee.
I looked away, but to my left.
Oh my gosh, yes, like Sodom and Gomorrah.
You're Two-Face in a way, too.
Yeah.
You're Batman and Two-Face.
Wow. Now, did you read the comic books and everything like that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what an investment.
Yeah, comic books, the Adam West Show.
Yeah, because the Adam West Show was fantastic.
I wish it was just called the Adam West Show.
Yeah.
That would have been better.
Might as well.
Adam West as Bruce Wayne as Batman.
Yeah.
Fez has the same childhood that Robert Durst says he has. You know what I mean? That it was so bad that you just do weird things when you get older. Have you watched that documentary? Because this is right up your crazy alley.
I am. I'm waiting to watch it, but I heard about the ending, and I'm just.
You don't just. This is how deep I got into it. I saw that there was news pieces out on the last day, and I wouldn't read because I didn't want it to ruin my TV show.
Yeah.
This Real Life with Murders just became my TV show.
But I read the headline, and I got the chills.
It was. I can't think of a more shocking moment in television history. I can't think of anything. Fez, I guess when you were there when you heard the news that FDR died. And
we were shocked but equally sad.
Yeah. I'm going, well, it's up to Truman now. Maybe Truman will be able to pull himself out of this.
None of us trusted him.
Sure. I guess you were in the Philippines at the time when the news came in. Slugging it out.
We were still furious over MacArthur.
Sure. I don't blame you. Those were different days, though, weren't they, Batman? Fez was there. Batman #1 landed on his doorstep.
What is this?
Dude, we got to do something with that mustache as being the Batman insignia in the sky. So you tried to make that yourself. Did you think that he would come? Did you believe in Batman?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was like just shining it out the way. It's just this horrible little paper bat that I had stuck to the front of it.
Didn't concern you that you couldn't find Gotham on the map?
No, I thought he answers the signal.
What did you think he was going to do? Take you away? Take you to his cave and make you his girlfriend?
I think if he just showed up, I would be friends with him.
Oh.
And then people would say, hey, watch out. That guy's, that kid's friends with Batman. Don't fuck with him.
Were other kids giving you trouble when you were little?
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't like to go outside at all. And if I did go outside, the Batman reruns would come on, I think, like at 4 o'clock.
2:30, I think.
Yeah.
Well, where I grew up, they would come on at 2:30 right after school.
And I remember there was times where other kids would hold me down.
Oh, my God.
Or, hang on to me so that I would miss the show.
Oh, my
They knew I
God.
wanted to go inside
Yeah.
to watch it.
And it would break your heart.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
There's no DVRs.
This is so of course not. Not even a VCR.
No, you're gathering around a radio.
Just FDRs.
Oh, my gosh, Fez. That is just heartbreaking. My heart breaks for that little kid.
I wish I could go back there and push him down, too. Only because I love that energy. You know what I mean? I love the energy of a mob. A gang of kids. I just get caught up in it.
A gang of kids is a lot of fun sounds and sights.
One time I got so caught up, I just threw a noose over a branch. And the other kids are going, hey, too far, dude. Settle down. Even the mob has a line we refuse to cross.
Most of the kids were not on Jack and Piggy's side growing up.
No, why would they be?
Right.
We need his glasses.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Fez, that is so sad. Heartbreaking.
I'm just going to move mine over here.
Little
Seriously,
Fez.
we need that for a fire, though. Did you ever read that book when you were a kid, Fez?
No.
Fez doesn't read books at all.
Oh, really?
You said you've never read an actual...
That would have been a great escape for you. You could have escaped into Narnia.
Yeah, that would have been perfect. Some fantasy world.
Yeah.
Never made it past comic books.
Some fantasy world with a obvious Christ figure.
Mm.
The lion. I called it in 5th grade, and I'm a Jew.
Is that right?
Yeah. The kids were weeping. I said, hold your tears. This goes where I think it's going. He'll be back on Sunday.
I remember when you're a little Catholic kid,
Yeah.
and you learn the Christ story, and then you hear Second Coming, you start thinking, me? Is there a possibility?
Oh, yeah?
I'm growing up Catholic. I think every little Catholic boy at one point wonders, am I the Christ? Let's come back for everybody.
Oh, and the retribution you would get.
Yeah.
On the nuns.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they were
sadistic, right?
Well, they were formal. You know what I mean? Like there was
Okay.
a formality to that, but they were also oddly maternal too. You know what I mean? Like they would be like people only remember the bad stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember a neighborhood just covered in nuns, and now I have nuns that live on my block here, all in one building, and you know I've moved along. I kind of find them hot. You know what I mean?
But do you ever want to shake them and say, what if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? You're not going to be able to come back and then have sex.
Yeah, but I could do that with everyone I meet. I just feel like, I could shake almost anybody.
Yeah?
People drive me crazy with their choices, but you got to leave it up to them to make
But
the
they're
choices.
so convinced.
Yeah, but what do you think gets them to that point? What, we can
mental illness.
Yeah, we can look at Fez and go, okay, the things that happened to him when he was younger gets him to do the things that he does now.
Yeah.
But don't you think most of those people had to have something crazy, whether it was suppressive parents that wanted them to break into it or something that happened
Yeah.
that they thought, I will, because when you're a nun, you marry Christ. You
Yeah.
are the bride.
Yeah.
Well, in our school, they would call it the unfucked bride of Jesus.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
And they would say, welcome the unfucked bride of Jesus.
Oh,
And we'd all clap.
that's hilarious.
So nice. We'd have rosaries. We'd come together. You know what's really funny?
Were any of them even remotely attractive?
No, not to me. When I was a kid, they were frightening. They looked like fucking crows.
Yeah.
It's like if crows got up and could talk.
Yeah.
But see, this is the thing. This is why when people talk about cults, we were like little, like first, second, third grade, and like something would come up, and we'd look at each other like, that couldn't happen. You know what I mean? Like we never really bought in.
I bought into it. When I went to Hebrew school, they would tell the story of Abraham and Isaac, and I was like, oh, this could have gone horribly wrong for the kid.
Yeah.
And who's to say God's not going to command my dad to pull this same shit?
Right.
Because my father will listen.
Yeah.
He's dedicated to the good Lord.
Do you know
Jews should not be dedicated to this God?
The Old Testament is really, really a lot of blood.
No
It's an
justice.
Action film.
No justice.
No. But they figured out where Abraham had decided to do that. They found the exact spot where that happened, and it was down on Highway 61.
I didn't think there was any way you were going to
be able to pull out of that. Yeah. It's down on Highway 61. That's where I get most of my Old Testament from Dylan.
It's my favorite Dylan album.
Oh God, it's so amazing.
Yeah, it was the entrance music at my special.
You know, when I talk to people that are just full atheists, I will always bring up Dylan. I go, so where did those songs come from? You know what I mean? Because I don't think a person could have written as many great songs in such a short period of time without something happening. You know what I mean? I don't think a human could pull that off.
That sounds crazy to me. That doesn't prove the existence of God.
It proves the existence of something bigger than humanity. It proves the existence to me of a channeling of information that is not just the mouth and ears, that there is some kind of flow of information that some people tap into.
I think it's a probability thing where you have 6 billion people on Earth at a time. One of them is going to come up with something really brilliant.
One of them is going to be Dylan.
Yeah. We've had a lot of people.
But what else do we have along those lines that you could say? Because if, like, you look at Steve Jobs, I can figure it out. I could go, yeah, I could see he's bringing people together. You know what I mean? Like, those things don't impress me as much as a guy sitting there hearing music and amazing lyrics and boom, 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 run after brother. Stuff
Penicillin. What about penicillin? That was a long shot.
That was kind of cause and effect, though, right? I mean, they experimented, they tried,
but
they
thousands
actually
of
made
years
a
they went without it.
Yeah, they made a mistake. They came back. That's the kind of stuff. But, if you even look around at stuff like they say, like geometry was on both sides of the earth at the same time. That you take this really complex thing, and at the same period in time, it happens at both places. And here's one that even amazes me more than human beings. All right, they're like these herding animals, right? Like the dogs.
Yeah.
If you have them as a puppy and you're just letting them run around, you don't train them or anything, they'll start herding ducks or little children together.
Wow.
And you're like, well, how can they do that? It was bred, which means that the information it passes down through the cells somehow.
Certain wiring in the brain, but you're thinking of Jung, right?
There's a Jungian thing to
collective unconscious.
There's got to be a collective unconscious
because the fairy tales exist in different forms in every culture that never interacted.
In every culture. So, and that's a lot of Joseph Campbell.
Yes.
So the thing about him is he's like, we need these stories, we need these morality tales, and we will each other over and over and over. And how does that information come to each of those tribes? Why would they do it?
But are they necessarily healthy just because they're within us? Because the Cinderella story isn't helping any broads. Sorry about that.
But maybe it did at one time. Maybe it's time for new mythology. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But it's also important to, and this is why I never be religious, is that I don't think that you have to hold those stories as holy. But you should go, so why did the Jews need to hear about Abraham? What was important for these people? Because if you look what happened with the Jews, how did they survive all those years?
Yeah, but the gall of God to first ask him to cut the tip of his cock off,
right,
and then kill his kid. It's not like God, this particular God, Yahweh, had so many followers at the time.
Right.
The audacity when you had thousands of gods at that time, gods for everything, and this guy's gonna have them winnow it down to one, and he's gonna start with an unbelievably cruel and painful requirement, an initiation, and then a few years later, and the whole story is that Abraham did this when he was in his 90s. Ugh, it's lunacy, and they follow him.
But not only
and he
that,
started 2 religions, Abraham, right?
Well, if you really look at it, the other 2 big religions came from that Old Testament. You had Christianity and then the Muslims. The Muslims believe in the Old Testament.
Sure,
well.
But I don't feel safe mocking them. Whatever they do, they do. Jews, I'll mock, I'll ridicule all day long. They never come back at me.
You have to give them a lot of credit, and the Christians a lot of credit that they can take the beat down, because they take some shit. The Muslims are just always ready to...
Yeah, they're the guy you don't fuck with. Because you know he's fucking crazy?
Yeah, he's just fucking crazy. You stop yourself from saying crazy. You were crazy. Whatever he is. Whatever, religious and really honorable. It's a beautiful religion. Don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful religion. Everyone always says all the religions just gorgeous.
It means peace.
Yeah,
how could it mean anything else?
Yes.
And when I say crazy, the devotion is just, to me, crazy. But
I don't know. It seems like with every religion, the smart thing is to not be born a woman. You know what I mean? Like if you were to give the universe a sex, you think that you would think of it as maternal. Mother Nature. The woman giving birth is the start of life. And yet all these things are male dominated. Right down to the religion I grew up with, is that the women could not walk up on the altar, yet the 12-year-old assistant was able to come up there and hold on to the priest. But the woman, the nun who dedicated herself, was not welcome to walk up on the altar. And to me, in my little mind, I'm like, yeah, of course.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, it just made perfect sense to me as a boy.
The unfucked bride of Christ.
Here comes the unfucked bride of Christ. Ladies
What
and gentlemen.
she's sacrificing.
Yeah. But you would think that we would think of it as the mother, the universe being the mother. But we never. It's always a male, an old man up there. But here's the other thing too. But when you go back to that mythology, coming back and forth, that there was all these religions that had virgin births before Christianity.
Oh yeah.
That story existed in other places.
Yeah.
And what was it about this tribe of Jews who had zero power compared to the Romans on one side and the Arabs on the other, and then that becomes the major religion, that out of that becomes something that took over Rome, where Rome is now based on their thing, on what supposedly was a rabbi.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It really is.
And here are Christians who follow a rabbi and don't like Jews. It's just, if you look, if an aliens did come here, they were like, we can't talk to these people. They're
We can't talk
fucking nuts.
to these people, but one thing they all have in common, they can't stand these Jews.
They cannot stand the Jews. We can agree on that.
All the different conspiracy theorists come down to one thing.
Right.
It's the Jews. They can't agree on anything else.
Yeah.
But of course, the Jews.
Yeah. No, you might be out there somewhere in the heartland. You're like, I don't understand why that is. Come into New York, shop. And sooner or later, what is with these Jews?
Go to the Upper West Side Fairway.
And you'll find yourself saying, lady, there's a line.
Yeah.
There's a line. Well, we'll never love him as much as Jay Mohr does, but it doesn't mean we don't love him, Fez.
Yeah, but we see each other more than I see Jay Mohr. So.
Is that rare, huh?
Yeah.
And you see Gary Gulman this weekend at the Stand in New York City. Coming to Indianapolis, April 9th through the 11th at Morty's Comedy Joint, mortyscomedy.com for tickets. And Gary's going to be at the Charlene McCombs Empire Theater in San Antonio, Texas, April 16th. Go to Ticketmaster.com for those tickets. GaryGulman.com for more dates. And at Gary Gulman on Twitter. Plus, look for the upcoming special directed